All right, so this is a Tabletop Gaming Guild show. Tabletop Gaming Guild show is all about the memory and experiences of playing tabletop games with friends and families can create. And on this episode, we're going to go over our top 10 games of all time. And John's going to make something up. But it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so awesome. So we're going to go from 10 to our number one game. I think we're going to do this order where I'll go, and then I'm going to do it in my visible order here. So it's going to be... Oh, actually, I'll do it on the Twitch order here. So it's going to be Evan, myself, John, and then Nathan. So we're going to go ahead and start our top 10 and throw Evan under the bus as the first one.
And don't forget Peter in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. So Peter will be at the end of it. And who is the voice for Peter? John's going to be the voice for Peter. This is probably going to go badly, but it's going to be awesome. Hopefully. All right. So, Mr. Evan, the master of miniatures, what is your top 10, number 10 game of all time?
So, well, actually, this year...
Is this where you get in and also post that line of graphic where number 10?
Oh, I have those, and they will be there for the edited version on there. And I'm already having bad thoughts here because Evan's gonna have disclaimer here.
I am gonna have a
disclaimer. Is it gonna be my list is all Stratego?
That's mine.
Maybe
number 10, Stratego. Number 9, Alien Stratego.
Number 8, Lord of the Rings Risk.
Lord of the Rings Risk.
And then by 4, I'm just off of the channel because I can't make it all the way through.
No.
So this year, instead of doing top 10 of all time, like I have last couple of years, I went with the top 10 games that are new to me that I played since our last top 10.
I will accept that.
So over this last year.
Okay, I'll accept that. If John said that, I would say no. John, you're crazy. But Evan, you're good.
Hey, I went first.
Exactly what I'm doing.
I went first.
Is that what you're doing?
Therefore,
that's a horrible idea, John. Why would you even do that?
John's cheating off me because I went first.
That's like I gotta be the teacher in this situation.
Number one.
You didn't even have yours done earlier today.
It's done. It's on paper. See?
Oh, yeah, that counts. Sorry, John.
Yeah, well,
I got
timestamps on mine.
I have timestamps on mine too. Where's my pen?
Gotta try to be original.
Don't mind us in a different ink. It's no worries to you.
Okay, so
Good day, sir.
So to recap, before we start here, Evan's list is on Hopes and Dreams from last year. John's list is on Hopes and Dreams from last year of games they liked.
Because he copied from
Evan. I'm my top 10 games of all time. Nathan, Stratego?
No, I
know you hate Stratego, by the way.
Monopoly.
I do hate Stratego. But mine is an actual top 10 of all time. I was a little bit more reactive to mine. I kind of just did quick comparisons and I went on gut instinct more than normal, so it is fairly different than my normal list.
Gut instinct. So you're just shooting off the hip.
Yes.
All right. I will say that there is no games on my list that I haven't played at least 6 times.
Well, so going off that, my number 10, I only played once, and if I played it more, it probably would have been higher on my list.
Or lower.
But, no, I don't think so. So this game, everybody's a family member. Going on an adventure. Going through a possible creepy haunted house.
Oh, no.
And what that game would be is The Shivers.
Okay, that's the one with the pop-up stuff?
Number 10, yes. So The Shivers is a self-contained, everything is basically like a pop-up book. And it's really neat that you are going to put this insert inside this pop-up. So there's only a limited amount of rooms that you do, but you can change the configurations based off of what you put in there. What is really, really, really cool about the game is there's a couple rule books in it, but you don't need the rule books to start. There is an introductory session that will take you from beginning to end of how the game is played, where the storyteller who will run the game basically needs to read about 3 pages, and that's it. It'll take you through exactly how to play. I played this with my wife, my 14-year-old, and my 6-year-old, and they had a lot of fun doing it. The components are absolutely amazing. Like, I want to look in this cabinet. Well, you reach over to this pop-up and actually open the cabinet, and you'll see what's inside.
That's cool.
It's just, it's so awesome. I really like the system. It is a very basic role play system that is included in this. So it is a great entry level for somebody that may be interested in a role play system, but not sure what to do, where to go, because there's about a bajillion of those out there. So this is one that you could actually use as a segue to that.
Now,
And
go ahead.
the game comes with 2 entire story modules. They just kickstarted, and I think it's 3 more beyond that. So there's some, even though it is limited replayability, there's still some replayability, so to speak, with the other modules that are going to be out there for you to play. Each of the modules has, I believe, 4 adventures within it, and they take an hour to 2 hours to go through. So there's a lot of good playability in this game. It is not overly complex. As I said, I got to play with my 6-year-old. He understood and grasped the concepts for it. And it is a really fresh, neat style of game that like I said, only got to play once. It made that much of an impression that it made it to my 10 of games that I played from the last top 10 to now. And I think it would have been higher if I got more plays of it in. So, number 10.
Yeah, I'll say 8 games of it, right? For like we'll say campaign style game, for lack of better term, is good. 8 sessions is a good thing, especially since you have continued support, because you're gonna have a new modules coming out for that. And from what I understand, you don't have to do the RPG part or role playing part if you don't want, but you can add more to your game by doing it and like acting out characters and stuff. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, you have the different layers of how much you want to add, and you just basically pick which exit you're hopping off on. So,
yeah, and it is a lot of fun. I also got to play it this year too. Didn't make it onto my top 10 list, but it is on my list of games I enjoyed, and it made it to the I enjoyed it, and if you ask me to play it, I will play it tier.
And what's nice is it does have a little bit of a steeper price. You're usually looking $75, $85 like MSRP, but Miniature Market the last 2 big sales that they've done, it's been right around like $40-$45 in those. So if you can grab it on sale for that price, it's well worth that money.
Yeah, and I mean, there is a few things I would say that could be issues with it. Is that, you know, like some of the interactions with the board, because it's cardboard, it can get a little frayed after a few sessions. But but even still, I mean, visually is, it's great. It's amazing.
It's stunning. It's stunning sitting on the board.
It's like, I mean, it pops out at you, pun not intended, but I'm going to claim it is. When I was walking through PAX, like you see it and it's like, oh, wow. I mean, that was, like I made note of it and like went and checked it out. I mean, it is, and a lot of people did too. So,
Yeah, it looks amazing. It was, I've been seeing stuff about it forever, because they were in a development cycle for a long time too on it. And I've always wanted to play that. So maybe one of you guys is my gateway into being able to play it.
Well, as I told you, as soon as I finish my copy, once we get through it, it'll probably go to you for you to play through it until I get, additional content eventually way down the road.
That works for me.
Yeah, it's kind of like escape roomish, I would almost say too. Like if you don't want to do too much of the role play, then it kind of becomes more like an escape room kind of deal.
I would agree with that.
I like escape room games too, so that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, when I played it, it was with 2 girls who were very silly, and like one of them just like it's like, oh, I got the invisibility cloak. I'm just gonna go and start meowing like a cat. And like kind of doing a little bit more like kind of goofy role play with it.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah.
Did they actually do that? Because that would be like, please stop.
No, that she didn't actually meow or anything.
That'd be funny if she did it for a while and then stopped. That'd be like, oh, but if she did it for the entire game, I'd be like,
I wouldn't put it past Amanda to do that, but
hey, that would be pretty cool. So I will do my top 10 now at my number 10. And my number 10, I hope, goes back up on my list a little higher. I just haven't been able to get the games in on it. I also have not been able to play the expansion that I got with it. Got an insert. Love this game. This is a big game that I only play like once a year, if that, and I haven't played it for probably 3 years at this point. And the expansions really want to get into it because it has mechs and stuff. But that is Twilight Imperium 4th edition or whatever. I don't care what edition you're talking about. I love Twilight Imperium. It is an amazing game. It's just a lot to put together a game night for 8 hours to play the game. But when I can do it, it's epic. And since the years have been ticking since the last time I've done it, it is dropping to number 10 on my list. And I have a feeling if I can't get it to the table, it will probably pop off my list.
Let's go and make that happen then.
We should.
I have my copy that is sitting on my shelf unplayed.
Oh,
my TI3 copy has gotten a lot of plays. My TI4, I haven't because I usually wind up going to somebody else's and playing their copy.
I mean, we still might do that. Yeah. I'm fine either way. But yeah, if we could pull off a game night with that, I would be super happy. I bet you this would shoot back up my list if I can just get the dang thing to the table.
I mean, we could do it for Conde, just like reserve 2 blocks for it.
Maybe. It could play like with the I don't even know with the expansion. So just so anyone knows, Twilight Imperium is a big space opera game where you're going to get these super asymmetric factions. You're going to play them through this 6 to 8 hour slog here, which is not a slog. It actually goes really fast because there's a lot of things that you're paying attention to the game. You're invested in other people's turns. It actually seems, oddly enough, when I'm playing the game, that the game is too short. And I don't know how they pull that off.
I really agree with that. But I will say, in 4th edition, they streamlined a lot of it. There's a lot less downtime feeling.
Right. And I've played the 4th edition one, and I really do feel... Have you played the 4th edition one?
Yeah, I have played it a few times.
I really do feel that actually amplifies it, especially since you're not doing the voting for a while in the game. So that helps out a lot. But I do feel like those points, you only go up to 10 points, and I think those track up really quick, and it's like 6 hours later. But yeah, no, I really love this game. We really need to get it to the table. That's gonna be awesome. I don't know if we can do it at CosCon because that'd be a bit, but it'd be epic. I don't know how many players. It's a huge amount of players for the with the expansion. I'm guessing 7 or 8.
Well, I mean, if it's like with 3rd edition, it did go up to 8 with the expansion because it adds another ring.
Yeah, so
which I haven't played any of the TI4 expansions yet.
Oh, well, it's all the best stuff is in the TI4 single expansion. I don't think they have another expansion, just the one.
Oh, okay.
But it has so much in it. I don't even know that having an additional expansion would be good. The only way that I would ever want them to put another expansion for TI4 would be for maybe more factions. And that's it.
The expansion puts it to 8.
8. So we can play up to 8 players and have like super crazy battle. That would be interesting. All right, so that was my number 10, and next is John. What's your team?
All right. So so mine actually, it is a little bit different than Evan's, but also I would like to point out here that the chat agrees with me in that Evan is a plagiarist.
Well, because you put it in the chat.
That was John. Chatting to
no,
himself.
that's just chat. I don't know who. No, it's chat. Not me. But yeah, so mine
stream.
isn't...
Where's that button?
So mine isn't specifically just new games I've played since the last top 10, but mine is all games that I've played within the past year. My 10 favorite ones from that.
So
Which
legally distinct.
legally
Evans.
distinct from Evans, yes. Yours was specifically new games that you've played, not
Yes,
like old games
new-
that you've played.
New games to me that are from this past year block.
So yeah, but with my list though, if it was a new game to me, I did weight it more than if I was just a game that, you know, because it's like, oh well, yeah, obviously I already love Twilight Imperium, so it doesn't, you know, get ranked as high because, you know, something else surprised me.
I think you're just
within
making
the past year.
excuses of why Twilight Imperium's not on your list. That's
No,
what
what would he say?
Because I didn't play it the past year. I didn't play it.
All he's saying is
Excuses.
this is
sitting unplayed.
This is all him saying is how I want to be like Evan.
Yes,
that's
that's what I'm hearing.
So-
It's like, what would Evan do?
And,
Yeah.
and this is a game that I'm sure none of you have played. And this is the one that clocks in at my number 10.
Okay.
Ducks in Tow.
Oh no, but I saw it when you did it. The
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah, and also like in the also we did like a playthrough of it at Origins.
Yes.
And you know what? It was a really fun, just kind of like light puzzle-ish game, you know, with a really cute theme. And so yeah, it was a competitive game. You're, you know, kind of working against each other and trying to, you know, get the specific ducks that you want to match your, you know, your game plans, because you also have like you're trying to collect these clear pieces to kind of complete your puzzle board. And you know, so it's got like a little bit of everything. And you know, but thing is, it was a lot of fun. And my two other buddies who were there at the table playing with me were really quite surprised at how much fun that they were having playing it. And you know, and it plays like, you know, 20 minutes. You know, it's not that big of a time investment. So it's like, because everybody needs kind of like, you know, those kind of games that I need to fill in, you know, 20 minutes while we wait for somebody else to show up. And, you know, and here's a game with a, you know, fun theme. Or, you know, I mean, it surprised me quite a bit. And that's why I was able to eat its way onto the list and take the 10th spot for me for the games I played with this past year.
Yeah, I think my family would love that game a lot too. So that would be good to. It's always good to have a game that is enjoyable that my family's also going to potentially be into too. That's really good.
I think we got a troll in chat.
Yeah, pretty much. I like how you just looked down low and I was like, oh no, I know what he sees. I don't know who put that in, but yeah, that guy has taste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Nathan. What is your number 10?
So I'm not going to play as cult as new as John and Evan, although this is the newest game on my list. There were a lot of new games that were in contention, but this is the newest one to
Is it
actually
behind you?
make it. It is not. That was
Oh.
close. Apiary was close,
All right.
but it didn't quite make it yet. Maybe next year, once I get more plays into it. We'll see. But my number 10 is a Mad Max style game
Oh.
that is great for pretty much any gamer. So you can get people that have never really played board games and they can play it, and it's just pure fun chaos. And that is Thunder Road Vendetta. And in this game, you are basically racing down a road with all sorts of obstacles and trying to shoot other vehicles and blow each other up while trying to actually survive this track. And, you know, the absolute chaos of this game is where the fun is. It can end in 15 minutes. It could go for 45, but it's wild every single turn.
Yeah, and well, the only thing I have against the game at all is how can so much oil be on a road? Like, is there an oil geyser or something there? And they're just like, the guy's just like, you know what? We don't need to collect it. Let's just let it spray everywhere. Yeah, that's so much oil. I like when I hit a jump into oil. Like, really? Really?
I don't know. Maybe I need to go and give it another play because our play has kind of me in the because I split all the games I played in the past year into 4 tiers in the no category, and then this one is in the if you really want to category.
But are you talking
tier.
about your play on Tabletop Simulator?
Yes.
Because that mod was completely wrong.
Yeah, that mod
Yeah,
was
I know
bad.
that's why I feel like I need to give it another actual honest try. But yeah, that one didn't even like get close to being on my list because of that.
And also, I don't think I can actually. I don't think a game that I've only played on Tabletop Simulator is ever going to make my top 10 because I'm a tactile guy. I need to have those little things that move around. It's old.
I mean, yeah, that is. But there is one that is on mine just because of how impressed I was.
Oh, of course there is.
But we'll save that for later.
Oh,
Well, I wouldn't put anything I only played once on there either. Well, I did in my first year, but not since then.
so playing the role of Peter, what is Peter's number 10?
Hi, yes, my name's
He's
Peter,
gonna kill you.
and I am a librarian.
He's gonna kill you.
My number 10 game for 2024 is Seven Wonders Duel,
All right.
which was on my candidate list for me. Seven Wonders Duel.
Now, Seven Wonders Duel is a 2-player game where you're going to be vying off of a couple different win conditions, and you're going to be trying to deny your opponent from being able to get them while still trying to get them yourself. You can win with military. You can win by getting all the symbols, I believe. Or you can win with points if it makes it all the way to the end of the game.
And there's kind of like the pyramid that you wind up building out depending upon your layout, and that kind of like does unlocks kind of like solitaire style.
Right, and that's a really cool way. I think that's a really good way of doing 2-player drafting. So you want to draft that card, but you don't know what's going to flip. Are you giving your opponent something awesome, or you know what it is? Do you really want to get that card because your opponent wants it? Really good 2-player game. That's a tug of war game, and the Pantheon expansion I think is amazing for it. And almost if you like Seven Wonders Duel, a essential expansion for it.
Yep, which we had when I played it with my girlfriend. Yeah.
Yep. Now I do like Seven Wonders Duel, but I technically like Unforgiven better. Unforgiven is a little bit like a more gamer version. Not that Seven Wonders Duel isn't a gamer type. It's just a little bit more of a strategic element on top of it than Seven Wonders Duel. So if you think Seven Wonders Duel, you think about also, what if all the cards that you were drafting also had effects? And that is pretty much Unforgiven at that point. So
I haven't played Unforgiven, but I really like the theme a lot more.
Yeah.
It's basically the trials for the Lincoln assassination.
Well, specifically for Mary Surratt, where they had that controversial trial, the first woman hung for treason. But yes, yeah. Good, solid game. I'm not going to diminish Seven Wonders Duel too much. I'm just saying that I like that one better. But Seven Wonders Duel is also a solid game, especially if you like the Seven Wonders theme. Yeah. All right. So that was Peter's, and Peter was here to in spirit to give that.
Yes.
Which
he did note on his thing here that he didn't play many new games. Oh, wait, right here, I got to do the fight.
Yeah.
Because I didn't play many new games. My list hasn't changed much between last year and this year.
Oh, he's
nobody tell Peter about the voice.
No,
Just nobody.
we have to wait to see if he sees the episode, and then sees if John comes on with a black eye. Then we know, and that'll be hilarious. All right.
Side note, Peter, when you're watching this back, I know John's address, and I would be willing to give it to you.
Wow. I'm not gonna fight that. It could be Death Blossom. Just saying. All right.
I feel like that needed to happen.
Yeah, that was horrible. Anyway, so Evan, we are now at your number 9.
Well, we are giving the people in the chat what they want. So
I think we have some trolls in chat that need to be banned.
Probably.
Oh, they'll probably just come back with a different username. So I mean, it doesn't really matter. So number 9 is a game that we've played. I know I've played with you, James, quite a few times. We played it, did a playthrough on the channel, and we even interviewed the designer of the game.
Isn't this a Johnny Pax game?
It is a Fistful of Meeples by Johnny
Yeah.
Pax.
Okay, I called it. Yep.
So it is a Moncala style game set in the Wild West. There's 3 different win conditions, and what is really unique with this game is, unlike any other Moncala game where the last thing that you place is what you do, everything you place is what you do, and you can do it in any order. So I really like the spin of that game. It's not overly complex. It's fairly easy to teach, but there's a lot of layers to learn and think about as you go and do that game. It is a game that I've had for a little while. I had it right before we interviewed Johnny Pax, and I never opened the game. It just sat on my shelf, and I finally got to play it. Right, not that long
we
ago.
played it twice.
Yeah, we I think at the cons.
Yeah, twice
And
at least. Yeah.
It's just
I
a
think we
fun.
played it on stream. Was it you, me, and Nathan? Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't
Yeah.
on that one. I played it physically
Mhm.
with Evan, but
But
yeah.
it's the quality of the game is good. I think I like the theme. It fits very well with what's going on. And it's just a good, fun game to play. And as much excitement as I had with it, I got even more excited with it this year, with it going back into crowdfunding, and is going to have a couple mini expansions coming out that's going to
cool.
expand more into the game. And I'm really, really excited for those. Hopefully it should be later this year to add some more fun to this game. So Fistful of Meeples is my number 9.
Maybe with the expansions, I can actually even get more than last place. Probably not. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably all right. So my number 9, which is superior to Fistful of Meeples. I'm just gonna say that to make Evan mad. I don't know if it's actually true, but I do love this game, and it would actually move up my list a little bit. But in lieu of reviewing other games and other things happening, I haven't got at the table enough to justify past 9, and that is Furnace. So one of my favorite games that is not on my top 10, because it is literally disintegrated, is Spirium. And I really loved that game. And Furnace gives me the vibes of Spirium, but it's different. So it's also, they both can live in my collection. But I really love the bidding mechanisms in Furnace. I really love how quick the play is. I really love the engine building in the game. It's just amazing. Plus, they don't pretend it's not coal. Spirium's like, it's green coal, woo! Furnace is like, it's coal. I appreciate that. But anyway, it's a really good game. I am a little iffy on the expansion. I will include it. That's where you're at. You're a little iffy on the expansion.
Especially the variable token one.
Right. I think
that kind of breaks it.
I think that makes it. It also makes it fiddly. Like,
yeah,
I think that the game was really streamlined and really well done, the base game, and I feel that expansion sort of loses a little bit. The expansion is nice because it allows you to, I believe, have another player, so that's cool. And you don't have to add those modules. So I don't add those modules. If someone absolutely wanted to have it, I'll play it. I think it does diminish the game a little bit, though. But yeah, my number 9's Furnace. I
think the module where you get the tiles, that one's not bad. That one's at least interesting.
Oh, you mean the little tiles where you can bid for them?
Yeah. You can bid for them as cards, and they have different abilities that you can use to modify your other cards.
And sometimes they do cost, so you do have to put yourself out there to get it. So that's one thing. Plus, a lot of them, some of them don't, depending on how much you bid and what you don't do. Some of them actually are detrimental for what you do get. So I like that. So there's an extra layer of strategy on that. That's fine. I just wish the tiles were a little different. They're just like little tiny skinny things.
Yeah.
I know they're supposed to fit on the card, but no one does that. Or maybe John does. That's okay, John.
did.
You're allowed to do that, I suppose.
You're supposed to. How else are you supposed to show that you're modifying that card that turn?
I just put it above
Otherwise,
it.
you just be like,
Where's that card gonna go? It's gonna be
card.
right there. I just put it above it. Like, I do what I want. That's basically what happens. No. All right. Before any more retorts on that one, John, what's your number 9?
Number 9. Yeah. So my number 9 is another game that we've all played, and I suspect might be on Evan's list.
Ooh, is it Stratego?
And I think it might be higher up.
Okay.
And it's Stratego.
No, it's the new Stratego Legacy.
Yes, Stratego Legacy.
I did see a new
no,
version of
it's
Stratego. It was weird.
Yeah. Like I do remember seeing something about it or reading it, I don't know. But yeah, it's actually Earth.
Okay.
And this is one of the ones I also debated the longest time on what to put in for the number 9 slot, because man, I had so many games that were just like, I think I had like 20 some games that I had to whittle down to 10, and I probably up until yesterday I was debating on what to put in there for that one. I really like the engine building, and that's kind of part of what finally put it over the edge for me, was the engine building. I like the interactions with the different cards, and you could kind of like focus on the different abilities, and also that you never have downtime, because every person's action, you're doing stuff because you're also following along on that action.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
And that I am a huge fan of.
Yeah, I saw you liking it during our BGA playthrough.
Yeah, I mean, that
too.
game, the engine building is really nice. The basic simultaneous actions really keeps the game, and you stay engaged the entire time. And the game is absolutely beautiful. The art all through the entire game is just stunning. It's beautiful. It's a great game.
Yeah, and you can compost your cards.
Yep.
And then you can be like James and just put stuff wherever.
I had a really cool engine that was net zero that I used repeatedly until I realized, like, wait a minute, I'm not really getting anything from this. This is horrible. I lost so bad. I was like, I get to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and then I thought it through. I'm like, I literally ended with the same thing I had in the beginning. How
But you
is
had
that even
fun.
possible?
But you had fun doing stuff.
I had fun doing stuff.
Yep.
I like doing stuff.
I was like, this is awesome.
Yep.
I get to do 20 things, and they're like, wow, I gained nothing. So, but yeah, that was cool. Yeah, Earth is a good pick.
Yeah, I was so yeah, like everything that's on this list are either games that I own also, or games that I want to own.
All right,
I was also kind of like, that was
it or want to.
I want to own it.
Okay.
So I want both of these so far are games that I want to own. I do not personally own them yet.
Yeah, I just
my copy's over there.
traded. I just traded in some Christmas gifts to get Earth.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what Christmas gifts did you trade in?
The ones that were duplicates.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your lingerie, but
oh, that's not right.
Well, I was hoping to get the expansion for Lost Ruins of Arnak.
The leaders one or the newer one that hasn't come?
The leaders one, actually.
It's pretty good.
So they got me the actual base game instead, and I got a Mansions of Madness that I already had. So I traded those in. I got the expansion I wanted and Earth.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so Nathan, perfect segue. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is the smallest game on my list by far. This is a game that when I heard about it, I didn't. What was that?
Nothing.
Shut my face?
No, I said judging face.
Oh, judging face.
All right, wait a second. All right.
So this is a game that's a really unique trick-taking, cooperative trick-taking game. The crew, the Deep Space one, Quest for Planet 9, rather. Both of them are great. I personally prefer the original, and the whole idea of this is It's cooperative trick taking.
Mhm.
You have to make sure certain people win certain tricks, but you have limited communications, and everybody cheats in this game because they talk a lot more than they're supposed to.
Peter loved us when we were cheating this so bad. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That was a good
he
day.
yelled at us.
He yelled at us so bad. He's like, "You kids, you can't
You
cheat.
can't do that. You're not
You can't
supposed to
do
do
this. We
that.
have rules. We have to play." I'm like, "You're right, Peter.
But what am I supposed to do? Not
Wink,
talk
wink,
at all?
John. Wink, wink. Why
We're
are you
on-
doing this,
we're on
John?"
We're doing this on a chat. We're doing this for a video. We're supposed to be like,
And that's actually part of the fun, is like that temptation to cheat and trying not to give in, and then eventually just, oh,
Well,
I
Peter's
just give it
Peter's
in.
just too honest for us.
Peter is a stickler for the rules.
He's also honest, which, no. It's really hard to not cheat in the crew.
It's so easy.
It's
It is.
hard.
It's so
It's
easy.
hard. Especially when you're like,
It
I
is
know
hard
what you
not-
have in your
not
hands.
to.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
it's hard not to not react when you're like, no.
No, yeah. Slow motion. Oh man, so yeah, the Crew's a great game. They have so you like the deep space one better than the other one. The one underwater. The one underwater had like a module sort of thing instead, where you had like the actual goal was part of some of the cards instead of just like, hey, I need to get a 9, hey, I need a 6. And I also agree, I like the original one better. They are releasing a new Crew, which has a really weird theme that I forget about already. Let me see if I can look this up as John does Peter's number 9. I hope Peter does not kill us, by the way.
Hello, my name is Peter, and my number 9.
Oh, this is better. You get a deeper voice now.
Yes. Is last year was Seven Wonders Duel, but this year it's Raiders of the North Sea.
Oh, such a good game. Yeah, Raiders of the North Sea is, I love Viking games. I just love Viking games. And that game is part of this like trilogy that they're doing from Garfield Games, I believe. And in this one, you are basically trying to raid up. So you're trying to gain the goods and provisions you need to raid farther and farther inland. And you're trying to improve your crew as you go. And there's a lot of strategic decisions that you need to make. And it also has one of my favorite mechanisms ever for worker placement. And that's where you place a worker, do the action, take a worker, do an action. I really like that.
And the game is fairly easy to teach because once you go and tell them that, well, there's half the game.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy to teach. I do like the expansion that does more with the Valkyries. I think that's really cool. I also like I think there's the Fields expansion, whatever, but the other expansion adds wound tokens to your leaders, because technically in Raiders of the North Sea you can get that perfect crew, but if you have that expansion in there, your perfect crew is going to be taking wounds, so you're going to be killing them off just because they become less and less powerful with those wounds. I think that's a very important expansion for people who play the game a lot, but the base game is still good just by itself too.
And the digital port's really good too.
Yes. Yeah, the digital port's really good for it also. I mean, normally, like, a lot of the games, like, they do a good digital adaptation of it, especially with card games. I sort of, like, gravitate to those. But for some reason, I don't gravitate to the digital version of the Crew. I think it's because of the really hard time it's cheating with the physical version. And all the really interesting player interaction where people are like, I'm not cheating! You know? So I still don't know what the new version of Crew was. They did an announcement of that, but maybe I'll figure it out while Evan does his number 8.
Number 8. So number 8 is a 4X game. I love 4X games. They are fantastic. What's not to love about building your economies and exterminating other people, and when you are the victor, it's even better, especially when you're the victor twice in a row and it is fantastic because James and John are yelling at each other across the table, and that game is Last Light. So I really, really enjoyed our play of Last Light. I will say, of the games that are on my list, this game is probably the poorest of the production quality because the planets look like lollipops. Maybe the deluxe might be a little bit better, but we just played a normal retail. But the gameplay itself is really good. For a 4X game to be able to be played to completion and feel satisfactory that you played it in an hour to hour and a half is saying something.
I mean, it is a very light 4X game, but it's still a pretty good implementation, I would say.
Yeah, and it does feel like a 4X game. I've played a lot of games that say they're like a short playtime 4X games, and they're not really 4X games, or they don't have that feel. This game, at least, people could be super nitpicky if they want on it, but in general, it definitely feels like a 4X game. It feels like it has all the X's, which are actually E's, so it should be for E, but whatever. And I do agree that the non-deluxe production quality is a little poor for how much you have to pay for it. I get for the amount of money that game costs for the non-deluxe version, I can get a game that is immensely better production quality. But the gameplay is amazing and makes up for that. Really love gathering that light, putting those generators out there, having John backstab you from winning the game, even though he was not going to win, with a death blossom because he's a horrible, horrible, nasty person. Two times.
Twice.
It was fantastic.
Horrible,
it was fantastic.
And
for the fact that I won the first game,
and the second.
And at the end, John was like, "That's because no one attacked Evan. No one attacked Evan."
And then
yet,
all I did was I was like, "I'm getting you back, John." Next time.
And then yet, when we played it the second time, again, nobody attacked Evan, and Evan won.
It's one of those few games too that we played and we're like, we're playing it again.
Peter was in that with that play, and I think he enjoyed it also.
Yeah, I believe he enjoyed it.
It's not overly heavy.
No.
With your actions being, you're selecting action cards, so I think that really helps and narrows down the choices of what you're doing. Since you're slowly depleting your options, I think that really helps with the speed of what you're doing.
Which is kind of one of the mechanics I like from Flotilla as well, is your hand is your actions, so you kind of can plan things out.
By removing a straight up tech tree and doing it basically using cards that you draw and filter through, that also helps because now you're not spending 15 minutes of going, well, which path am I taking to? It's streamlined a lot of things out that aren't really truly necessary to get a 4X game. It did enough of them to have it at that 4X level, but without going all the way there. And I think that's a great point of how can we make a 4X game not take 8 hours? And I think Last Light did a great job doing that. And it was really enjoyable. And like you were saying, James, sometimes you got them that you're not satisfied with it because it's missing something. This hits all the points that you want. And plus the board rotates in a really cool way.
Yeah, that's really cool too. And I thought it would be a little gimmicky, but it's actually not. It's actually works really, really well. It's an integral part of the game. The other knock that I have on it, even though I'm just, going to be hypocritical here, is the base game comes with 4 players. This is a game where people could take turns at the same time. You can have this huge player count. This is what they promoted. And the base game can only play 4 players. You have to get the expansion to have the extra players. What?
And one of the fun things coming in and being around with the channel was so they announced this. James got super excited about this game. He's like, "Oh, I love Gray Fox games. This looks great. I love 4X games." And then
Roy Kennedy designed it too.
And then the pictures came out, and you were went from excited to I'm very disappointed. I'm not going to back this. Go away.
The game does look ugly.
It's terrible.
So terrible.
And then you found a really good deal on it. And you're like, I think I'm going to get this game.
Yeah.
And then it was a big U on that. And
Yeah.
I'm super glad that we actually got to play that, and we played it in person. It was a fantastic experience. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Enough that it's on my list.
Yeah, and it's coming to Kickstarter on the 30th, actually. I believe.
Which I'm
that's
hoping
30th.
for you to back and get more stuff so I can get this copy from you.
Yeah, man. Okay, we'll see in a minute. Well, think about it, but not. It'd be a little longer than a minute, actually. No foreshadowing. All right.
Getting it, and I'm getting his copy.
Yeah, that's true too. All right, so my number 8 is been on my list for a long time. It's a game I
So it's
love.
lame.
What's that?
So what? I didn't say anything.
Right.
What?
All right, it's been on my list a while. It's dropped a bit, and that's gonna be Mansions of Madness.
What's that game? I don't know what that game is.
Never heard of it.
Mansions of Madness
No.
is a game that I promised to Evan to play that probably will happen someday in the future.
2 years.
2 years. But in Mansions of Madness is an app-driven horror game based on H.P. Lovecraft's stories. Now, the cool thing about this is this game has the adaptation on here has a whole bunch of scenarios that you can play, and your scenarios are different every time. Now, I mean, the same overarching idea is in all of them, but based on the content, it randomizes it that you have, and some interactions are different. People are in different places, and I've played some of the scenarios like 5 or 6 times, and it had a different feel to it even every time, even though like it's the same overarching idea. And it's really cool that you could have a board game that really feels like you're on a train going to train stations, jumping off, going to another train station, jumping off, or you're on a sinking boat, or you're on a mansion that turns into the forest, and you have to go through the forest and kill snake people. It's just amazing what they were able to do with this app integration, and then the physical portion have so much flexibility that those tiles are different. It's visually impacting just on the board and the app. I just never can say enough about Mansions of Madness. It's one of those games that you haven't lived your life until you played it. So I'm sorry to Evan for not being able to live his best life. This is very sad at this point.
You have a copy of it. Nathan apparently has. Those must be the only 2 copies that exist. I don't know.
Does John have a copy?
No.
Okay.
See.
John's
That one's on my. That one's on my tier of, hey, you want to play it? I will gladly play it. But I don't know if I wanted to go and make the jump for that price for buying.
Yeah, it is a little bit of expensive for the base game. I think the base game might be over $100 at this point.
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing is it's been out for a while, so if you get onto some buy-sell groups, you can get it for significantly cheaper. So it's not too bad if you're kind of coming into it, and it's supposedly, I don't know because I don't get to play the game, but it's not bad for on like a learning aspect of the game too.
Oh no, you just teach a couple basic
is,
rules, and the app does it, and you have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we've used that and recommended it to a couple people that are getting into the hobby too. And I always steer people as like, if you're going to buy this new in box, it's going to be expensive. Look for a used copy of it. There's tons upon tons upon tons of them out there, and you'll spend half the price and you'll get a lot of game out of it.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah, I would say on the teaching element, really only one person needs to know the game, and the app handles so much of it that one person can just do some minor directions here and there, and
yeah,
you don't really have to do like a sit down. These are the rules.
No, it's a lot easier to teach and run into than Betrayal House on the Hill. I also think the story. Well, I mean, Betrayal House on the Hill is just a crazy story. I think that Mansions of Madness has a more cohesive story and engaging story, and that's partially because of the app, and they can keep it all in line. But I mean, it's also a good story too. All right, so John's number 8.
So my number 8 is another one that I am positive is not on any of your guys' list.
No, Strategos, it's not.
No. Unfortunately, Stratego didn't make the list this year.
Oh, man, you had to not say that so I could keep doing it.
I mean, I
he's lying. He's lying.
Yeah. He's like, Stratego was it, but Stratego Special Edition.
But Stratego, the first printing.
Oh, fancy.
Yes, but no. So mine number 8 is another one that this one's a 1 to 2 player game,
Okay.
and it's a game that unfortunately none of you could buy, but you can print and play it, and it's the Persona 5 fan game print and play.
I've actually heard of
by,
that, but I haven't played it.
Yeah, like Ming Yang Lu, I think was his name, that made it. But yeah, he also has, I think, a Fire Emblem game he's done more recently as well. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, the game looks gorgeous because, I mean, it's using the Persona 5 artwork, and Persona 5 artwork is amazing. I mean, let's just say Persona 5 was the first Persona game I ever played, and then I was like, how did I never play these before? And so yeah, I mean, it captures the feel of kind of doing a specific like boss raid fight, and each of the bosses are different for each like different palace that you want to go and do the raid on. So they all have like kind of different modifiers, and then the more you go into it, the higher the alert level comes, and the more abilities and things that they do that you have to kind of, between you and your friend, figure out, okay, you go raid the palace this time, defeat some of the enemies. I'm going to go and see about getting some more, confidence, that I need this round to be able to kind of, build your Tableau engine. So it's a little bit of a Tableau builder. And like I said, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I really enjoyed it. And you go and throw on the Persona 5 soundtrack, and so yeah, if you're a fan of the games, yeah, it was a blast to play. And yeah, so that one comes in at number 8 for me because of how much fun me and Jen had playing that.
Yeah, it sounds like I definitely want to give that one a try at some point. I saw it. Print and play, though, is the difficult one where I have to do the print and put together.
Yeah, but I mean, like a lot of the components, like everything, looks really nice. Like, I mean, it looks like like a professional game. And also another thing I will say, like the time limit really does kind of capture that feel of, you only have 2 weeks to get this done, and we barely squeaked it in on the last day, like completing the dungeon.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, that sounds really cool. All right, so what is Nathan's number 8?
I think Evan and John will really like my choice for number 8. It's a game I don't think James has played. And that's The King's Dilemma.
Yeah, I have not played that. Yeah.
So this is
Foreshadowing.
Oh no.
So, really phenomenal negotiation game. There isn't a whole lot of mechanics to this game. It's primarily just voting and negotiation, and what makes it really strong is the through story that changes based on what you do as a group. You are basically controlling this kingdom and voting on various decisions that the king would make, and trying to influence the king to make the decisions you want for your clan, basically. And those decisions have repercussions throughout the story, and it feels like the story is like twisting and turning with your decisions. And I thought it was really phenomenal for that.
I'm sure we're going to hear more about this in a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and jump to Peter's number 8.
Really?
I think, not for me though, but I think.
No. So, this my next game. It used to be ranked a little bit higher last year, but this year it is number 8 is Watergate.
Oh, Watergate's really good. That's another 2-player game. And this one is going to be a push or pull game also. And you are trying to gather evidence if you're the Washington Post. But if you're Nixon, you're trying to eliminate this evidence. And you're also trying to cut out ties to this evidence. And I think if you're the Washington Post, you have to get 3 pieces of evidence to 3 people to win the game. And it's a really good, solid 2-player game. I think especially if you like that theme, this is like a definite game. Also, I won it when I played against Peter.
I mean, I like the theme, but the main person I'd be playing 2-player games with, I don't know how she would feel about Watergate as a theme.
I think
I might have to ask her about that tomorrow.
I think it's a game you can move past the theme a little bit because you're really looking at the card actions and stuff. Now, there's flavor text on the bottom that explains the historical stuff. But if she doesn't mind, like, just playing a game that has good mechanics to it, that is one. I think the theme is there. It just doesn't beat you over the head. And that gets into one of those type of games that you could have put any theme on it. And it would be fine.
Yeah, like, I mean, she's the one who owns a copy of Seven Wonders Duel as well, so.
She'd probably like Seven Wonders Duel better, theme-wise, if she's not really into that theme. But it might be something to try just in case. All right, so now we're down to our number 7, and Evan's number 7. What could it be?
So I have played this game with James.
Ooh.
I have played this game with Nathan.
Ooh.
I have not played this game with John.
Probably good.
I mean,
John,
otherwise,
John cannot enjoy this game at all.
Oh. Is it Stratego?
Oh, I think I know what this is.
Because it involves things that he can't have. Oh. That is beer and bread.
Oh my gosh, beer and bread's good.
So Beer and Bread is a fantastic 2-player game that uses multi-use cards. And the cards that you use, you collect your resources. You have to store your resources, but you only have limited spots for your resources. So if you overfill, it goes to your opponent. But you're also using the cards to brew your beer, bake your bread. I love both those things. I love gluten.
Gluten makes everything better.
I mean,
it's a sad. No, what's that? Did you say this?
It is a protein that creates a lot of, cohesion and stretchiness to a lot of things.
Oh, that's true.
Why a lot of gluten-free stuff sucks.
Yeah, but science, they were trying to fix that, so we'll see.
But this game, you are trying to get points by baking the best bread, brewing the best beer over multiple years. And what's great is the multiple years have different rules depending on the year. Sometimes it's going to be a lean year and there's going to be less resources. And you have to use cards you previously used as now your hand. All of a sudden there's a market row or there's more plentiful resources. So it changes, goes back and forth. The game plays really, really well. I really, really enjoyed that. I played a bunch of times with both you guys. I think we played twice, Nathan, and James, we probably played like 4 or 5 times, I think.
And I played it with my wife a lot too.
And it's probably one of my favorite 2-player games. Scott Alms did a great job with that, which as James and I were talking the other day, we found out that he's actually local to our area.
That's going to be cool. So we'll see if we get him up here.
But I love this game. It does a great job using multi-use cards, and it's just not multi-use, it's tri-use cards, which is great. It's even more options.
Yeah.
So you're making a lot of decisions in this game, and you can play. I've said this multiple times: is you can really, really hone in a strategy on this game and get really deep into it, or not, and you don't have to do that. You can just play it, more surface levelly, and that's perfectly fine too. So this game, I think, just kind of hits a lot of different notes for me. Got it over this last year, and I got excited because it was cheap and it involved beer and bread. And I like those things. I was like, oh, sure, I'll give it a try. And I was blown away. It just absolutely did a phenomenal job.
One of the best mechanisms I like from it that actually blows my mind a little bit is the drafting mechanism that you get every other season, where I get to pick a card, but then I have to give my hand. It's a 2-player game, by the way, to my opponent, and their opponent gives me their hand. And trying to figure out like what goods I need based at what is my opponent going to take or use, and I think what my opponent wants. So maybe I want to take that card, and do something with it. So good.
And I think that was the knock Nathan had with it because of trying to remember what he had and what was going back and forth, which I could see.
Terrible memory.
Which I could definitely see that with that. I mean, and part of that drafting too is not only doing that, but also going and saying, what can I use for resources now that I want to use in my hand for next round? So you have to think one step ahead.
I really like that, encouraging the forward planning part of it, where it's like what you use now kind of dictates what you can have in the next phase.
But you can't screw yourself completely because the market row that comes out definitely alleviates a lot of that too. So Scott Alms, good job. Number 7 on my list.
So my number 7 is going to, I think, make it so much higher on my list eventually here. I've had so much fun playing this game. This game here is based on one of my favorite book series by Bernard Cornwald. I believe it's called the Saxon Saga. For reality, I think it comprises like 12 books. But they made a Netflix series called The Last Kingdom, which I believe is the first book in the series. And the still art from the game is from the Last Kingdom series. And I don't normally like still art at all. And I think that might be why this game isn't like super popular, because still art's not that popular, because it's an amazing game. And actually this is a big box game, and Gameland Games does not put out a lot of big box games. They normally, the majority of their catalog is the tiny epic lines games. They pump those out a couple a year at least. So I was really surprised where they were going to have this Last Kingdom Kickstarter, big grandiose board game with a whole bunch of really cool miniatures. And the game play is amazing. I really enjoy the gameplay of The Last Kingdom. It's a very heavy negotiation style game where you are having to draft cards to start off with, and you're only going to have 6 cards that you get to play over 5 different battlefields. So you have to be very strategic on when you play your cards, because when you play your cards, you're not getting them back. And you can have action points you can spend on other things. So it's a very heavy hand management, resource management game. And you can swap sides throughout the game. So you may want to be a Saxon one time, you may want to be a Dane another, and you can betray people in this game by setting it up, making them think they're going to win, and then come in and switch and bring a whole bunch of Danes in, and then switch to Dane in the last second. Really a lot of fun. I really enjoy this game. I think this game is going to just keep getting to the table and keep getting higher up on my list, and that is the Last Kingdom board game by Gameland Games. Really good. All right, so no one has any comments on that.
I need to play that one.
Oh,
Evan, other than I need to play it, because last time I just had to watch you guys play.
Yeah, Evan didn't get to play it either, right? So yeah, the only one here that has got to play it on our channel is Peter and me, and Peter's not here right now. So, Nathan got to play it. Nathan got to play it.
Although it went really bad for me. It's about as bad as it possibly could have gone. So I got to play it again. Give it a fair shake.
Well, you have to be okay. So here's the thing: if you're a nice person, the game's going to be rough for you. If you are a cautious person, you're going to get screwed. You have to be ruthless.
I play games with Nathan. He's ruthless.
Well, you have to be especially ruthless in this game. You have to be especially conniving in this game. You have to... It's just great. It's like, think of this. So diplomacy is a game where you have a whole bunch of people and friends go into a room and they exit as enemies. It has the diplomacy feel, but you don't want to stab each other necessarily at the end of the game, which I think is amazing.
Which, side note, that's the last game the channel will play.
Yeah, pretty much.
Up is Diplomacy.
Yeah, pretty much. All right.
I have a copy of Diplomacy I've never played, so
Save that for when the channel is dissolving.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's move on to John's number 7.
So my number 7, I don't know if anyone else has this one on their list or not, but it's a game that I've had a lot of fun playing. A lot of almost kind of a little bit of role playing, a little bit to it, and that is King's Dilemma, my number 7.
I might be the
What's that
only
look,
one.
James?
I think I'm the only one that doesn't have it on the list because I have yet to play it. It's super hard to play campaign games for me.
You don't know if it's on my list. It's
I'm what you call a psychic. Yeah, we're gonna go psychic.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
I
yeah,
think.
it's
We'll
a
see.
lot of fun.
We'll see.
You know, I mean, especially if like you have a group that's kind of into like a little bit of the storytelling part of it. You know, and it's also like a great game. You can it's a little gamey, but not too gamey for kind of wanting to just get a bunch of people and you kind of argue about things, and then everyone complains that you're just trying to complete your objective. It's like I pass more power because I have to.
you have to have a layer of a board game to it, otherwise the game won't work. So you have to have some aspect into that. But they did a great job of just putting just that little bit. It's not a lot, but it's just enough that you could keep track and do what you need to do with it, and that's it.
Yep, I still gotta play this game. I hear that House Sanders has fallen and House Sanders is obliterated and is in the annals of history and will never exist again. That's what I hear.
House Sanders is the number one progenitor of Lords of the Realm.
Have you guys
how many kings do we have?
I think we have 10 or 12 kings and 1 queen in there, and I think like about half are from Sanders.
I ran out of my Sander pun names.
Oh no!
But I had
John
Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders.
We have an AI bot that we use, and if as long as only one person is missing, we'll continue and we'll put that person as using that AI bot also. This last time that we played, John was not able to come. We AI botted him, and he still won a game.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
And that was just the pure happenstance of the random card that he got, and the king only lasted 2 dilemmas because they were huge, like choices that we made, and it was like seriously, we may have named that king for him just because, you know what, we're gonna give the middle finger to him. So
too unfair. Yeah, I definitely need to get that one to the table. Sounds really
and
good.
It's a game you have to have the right group to play it. If you don't have the right group, the game is going to be awful, absolutely awful. You have to know your group and you have to pick the right one to do it.
And have goblets.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's better. All right, so what's Nathan's number 7?
My number 7 was a surprise even to me.
Oh.
And when I generated my list, I initially thought I would just take this one off, but the more I thought of it, the more it made sense. Because this is a genre that I love this genre mainly because of this game. In fact, every game that I played in this genre, other than this one, just makes me love this game more because none of them do it nearly as well as Letters from Whitechapel, and the genre is hidden movement. So Whitechapel, it's a dark theme. You're playing as one player plays as Jack the Ripper, trying to, kill ladies, and the other players play as police and detectives trying to hunt him down and find out where his hideout. And you go through several nights, and it's pure logic. You have a couple abilities for Jack the Ripper to help you evade the cops, but otherwise it's just you're doing a path. They're trying to find your path and track you down. But when they find elements of the path, all you're telling them is you were there at some point. You could be there right now, but they don't know that. And eventually you have to, I'm pretty sure they're there. Let's do an arrest. That's your entire turn for that pawn, for that detective. So it's a really phenomenal game. I've never seen anybody win with Jack the Ripper yet, but it's still phenomenally fun. And there's a lot of little tricks you can learn, and you get better at it every game. And it's the pure hidden movement game that works far better than any of the others, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that.
It's a good one. It's the only qualm I have with that one is
I've never played it, so I can't really
the
comment.
learning curve for people coming into it. It makes it harder for them to have a great experience with it, I feel.
Well, it's a pure logic game, so if you're not very logical, you're not going to do
Oh my gosh. Oh no. No. All right. So now that he said that, I'll be like, we want a game where Nathan just did a straight line towards us. And we're like, okay, walk one step forward. You there? And he's like, no. Remember that one? When
Yeah,
we went down
that's
the
the
main road?
classic mistake. Yeah, that's the classic mistake on
He was just being super cheeky.
Scotland Yard.
And it bit his butt.
Yes, I was taking extremely high risk, assuming they would not. I was assuming that they would assume I would not do that.
Yep.
And
Well,
I was wrong.
But thing is, I'll be like, yeah, but it's an easy low hanging fruit to check. Let's just go ahead and check
Well, it's a
And
thing.
as we
it's
we
not, you don't
established-
just check. It's like you have so much action, people are all over the place. It's a big thing to pick from, hey, are you there, to, hey, I'm just resting in this spot.
And we have
Mhm.
established through other games that Nathan is known for his risky moves.
He's like, I'm gonna be a risky man. Oh, you have to see our 6th nymph tour our playthrough, and you'll see the risky moves. And then you can judge
we
for
all had
yourself
some
and put in
risky
the
moves
comments whether you feel Nathan was risky and we're jerks, or we're jerks and Nathan wasn't risky. Either one.
I think both are true, but
Uh,
Yeah, they're not.
I find that
mutually
acceptable.
exclusive.
yeah, that's fine. I'm good with this. All right. So what is Peter's number 7?
Aye, my number 7, Ennis,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
down one position from last year.
All right. Innis is an amazing, amazing game. I love Innis. If you're looking for an area/majority control style game where you have a lot of push and pull and you have a lot of agency over your opponent winning or not winning, and you can clearly see in the map what's happening, and you can have a lot of strategy, and it's a very tense, fun game.
And giant cards.
You're going to draft these cards. They're going to be cards that you're going to be able to play for your actions and do different things with. You have epic cards that you can use to do super powerful actions. Awesome game. And that's Innis.
And John, it's Irish, not Scottish.
That's true.
Yeah, but I wanted to do Scottish.
It's not. Yeah,
I thought
he can't
about
do
doing
an Irish accent.
Do I want to do it? Hey, I mean, I could have done
We're
this.
insulting everyone everywhere today.
But
We
I wanted
lost
to do it
viewers
Scottish.
across the pond.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yep, I wanted to.
Oh my!
I did what I want.
So bad.
All those viewers that Peter got while he was over there, they're
Yep. I
unsubscribed.
actually wasn't doing Scottish. I was doing Austin Powers impression.
Or Sean Connery. You can pick one of them.
Yeah.
All right. So
John Connery, the Scotsman who plays a Frenchman.
Yeah, that was awesome. No ability to do any accents whatsoever. So that was Highlander, by the way, for you out there that haven't seen that movie or not as old as we are. All right.
she was Egyptian too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
It was awesome, too. It was so bad. So bad.
Okay, I got to step away for 1 sec here, real quick.
Okay, we're gonna go to
I'll
Evans
still be able to
number
hear.
6. Okay. Evans number 6.
So number 6, it has dragons. Everybody loves dragons.
Except for Nathan. He don't like dragons. He likes birds and chickens.
Dragon adjacent. It's fine.
Dragon adjacent. That's why Wingspan and Dragon or Wormspan work. But anyway, go ahead. Continue.
So it has dragons. It has a giant board. It has really, really cool art.
Okay.
And that's Flamecraft.
Oh, with the neoprene board. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is a game that I was putting my list together, and I was saying earlier that I was stuck at 8, and the 2 that came in are actually 5 and 6. here. And this one, it wasn't on my initial pull, but as I was thinking and pondering and looking at the games that we played, it kept coming back into my mind and kept coming back in my thoughts. And it was a game that after we played it on the channel and I enjoyed it thoroughly, I had to find a copy for myself. So whenever something like that happens, that says something about the game and the impression it left. So, I mean, it's a worker placement game that these dragons are artisan dragons, and you're engine building within these shops. And I think just that in itself was just a cool, interesting mechanic. Plus, I really, really like the art by Sandra Tang. I thought was really, really good. And it's a game that I want to play more. So that's why it ended up on my list.
Yeah, it's a great art, great game, super easy to teach, really explosive turns as the time goes by because the shops get better and better actions in it, so you get to do more and more things. So it's one of those games where everything just sort of builds up as the game goes by. Really, really great game. That's a good pick. Flamecraft. So my number 6 is, did you like playing, have you ever played, and did you like playing the Firefly game? So when you're going out and you're crossing across the giant galaxy trying to stay away from the Reavers, and you're trying to complete events, and you're like, wow, this game is really cool. I wish it took a less time, was more streamlined, and had a cleaner play overall, and maybe had the more superior Star Wars theme than Firefly theme. Not that the theme has much to do with it, but Star Wars Outer Rim, and I did like the Firefly game, by the way. The Star Wars Outer Rim sort of solves all the sort of little, like if you got outside of the theme of Firefly, if you got just to the core of the game, there was a lot of fiddly problems with it. A lot of downtime. You could have a lot of problems going from one side to the other, especially when you put all the expansions in. The game took forever sometimes. It was a lot of fun, especially if you like that theme. But the Star Wars Outer Rim is a cleaner version of it. It's more streamlined. Things are straightforward. It's a little bit more of a, I wouldn't say like a gamer game, because Firefly is a gamer's game, but more of like solid, where you can explore but continue to get your objectives, where a lot of times in Firefly you just want to explore and do all these cool things because they're cool and it's Firefly. But in Star Wars you can be like, oh man, I want to do all these Outer Rim, all these cool things, and because I just love the theme and I love this game, but it still moves you forward. So I really appreciate that with Star Wars Outer Rim. I really think the expansion really helped out, because if the base game you had that same-ish problem where you're on the one side of the galaxy and you're like, oh crap, I got to finish this thing on the other side of the galaxy and I need to take forever to get there. Now you can jump around. So I think that was a really great addition to the game. It added some other stuff, but that was the main thing that was really good for that to add. But yeah, I really love it. I love the Star Wars theme. I like Firefly theme too. I'm just being weird about it. And I really love sandboxy games. So Star Wars Outer Rim is just so dang solid. And that's my number 6.
I would 100% agree with you. Firefly is a great game. I love the theme, but in some ways the theme actually detracts because you get distracted by the theme.
Right.
And you get people quoting lines, and it can be 3 hours in, and then you suddenly realize nobody's actually made any progress yet. Whereas
I
Outer
find your
Rim-
lack of faith disturbing.
All right, so we have another Star Wars fan. Oh wait, I forgot John doesn't like Star Wars.
Yeah, I hate Star
He
Wars.
hates Star Wars. He don't like it. Don't look behind him.
Yeah. Outer Rim is very much more, you're always making progress.
Right. And
it's
you
a
can
much
do
shorter
those cool
game.
things. You can be like, hey, I want to be a bounty hunter, but yeah, you know what? I'm going to start trading now. I want to see this cool thing. I want to explore this area. You're still progressing yourself. It's really good.
I feel like it's the thing is, though, like when I played it, I felt like it was a much better version of the Fallout game.
That's also true. And the Fallout game's good too. Not that it's bad.
Yeah. But it feel like it addressed like a lot of the shortcomings I had with
Right.
it.
It's just amazing how I think they really took lessons learned from those other games and were like, okay, let's boil this down into what we really need to have happen. And then we put a theme on top of it. And they really did a great job on the game.
Yeah, this one make the bottom. It's like right there of my tier of games that I'd probably buy that.
Yeah,
So
and
it's definitely in the I'll play that territory.
yeah, and I really wish they would have had more support for it. They really only had the base game, and they took so dang long to put out with the expansion that they pretty much just took all the expansions they were supposed to do and put it in one dang box. Basically, they doubled all the decks. They did, like, it was crazy. But yeah. All right, so what's John's number 6?
My number 6, actually, my number 6 is actually.
They're like, that was horrible. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great party game. It's like another one that's you bring it out and like you have a lot of variety, like wider group of people you can play with. I mean, I really like trivia games, and the actually one is a nice spin on it because it's kind of you're taking something that a lot of people know about, and then you're just being pedantic, like and sometimes like really pedantic and sometimes not, but yeah, you're just saying one thing wrong and it's like, oh, I know there's something wrong in this sentence, but I'm trying to figure out what it is. And I don't know. I mean, I really loved the show, and that's why I picked it up. And it's one of my favorite quiz games because of it.
Yeah.
It's got like a nice variety. Plus, also the fact that you have the right race board. So for like the shiny questions, they're a little bit different. It's like, okay, here you go. Here's 6 things. Now try and figure out what crazy pun that we're doing with them and sign them with these other things,
Yeah, I don't like trivia games at all. Just to preface that, I hate trivia games. They're just not something that I enjoy. But I really enjoyed them, actually. I thought it was a lot of fun, especially when it got into some of the things I knew and being like, well, that's so dang close to being right that I'm like, what is that little thing that's wrong? I did enjoy that a lot.
You're muted.
A great showing of us playing that is when we did the interview with Your Parents' Basement. At the very end, we played that for a little bit.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was good.
That was really good. All right, so Nathan, what is your number 6?
This is the point where my list starts to turn a corner, and it's very different from here on out. This is of the remaining games. This is like on the relative small end, but it's still a huge game, which is Mechs versus Minions.
Okay.
So Mechs versus Minions is by Riot Games, and it's a campaign game in which you are controlling these cool little mechs that are pre-painted. Really phenomenal production in this game, and it's a program movement game. So every turn you're going to be taking these cards, adding it to your program, and it goes from, oh, I can kill this one little minion, to, oh, I can kill 10 to 12, or sometimes like 20 minions in a single turn. It's like you're just wiping the board, and all these minions are pouring out, and it has this really cool ramp up, and you go from, oh, I can't do anything, and I'm just slowly building up. You're doing phenomenal turns, feeling super powerful, that you get that really big adrenaline high from being super effective and getting so much done.
Or you're a very poor programmer and all your mech does is spin in circles.
Oh, no. It, like, my mech, like, you get damage and you get weird cards. My mech ran on damage. I was killing people left and right. I was like, bro, that's awesome. It's a great game. I really,
It's also very easy to teach.
Yeah, I think if I get this back to the table here with some of my younger kids here, it's definitely going to go back on my top 10. But I think it's been a decade since I've played it. Not entirely sure about the time frame, but I'm pretty sure close to a decade since I played it.
Yeah, that
I
was
don't think
actually the
it's
first
out a decade yet, but
first programmable movement game that I played, and it was thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah, and the production quality, like Nathan said, it's like through the roof. It's amazing. Just so much. I really hope they would have like a expansion for it for more content, because it is a campaign game. You can replay anything. That doesn't actually matter. But it is a campaign style game where there's a scenario you're going through, and I was hoping they would add like stuff later, but they never did. But still, awesome game. Good pick, Nathan. All right, so what's Peter's number 6?
So the number. Oh wait, here. I'm from the band called the Beat. All right, so my number 6 game. It's Dune.
Oh, Dune. I have a
Dune,
really hard time understanding what you just said. All right, so he's talking. So
what's wrong with my accent?
all right, so there is a lot of Dune games out there. And there's the original Dune game that came out, which is a super asymmetric game that you have a lot of different modes that you can play, where you're fighting over Arrakis and you're trying to play one of the factions in the Dune universe, and their powers, their asymmetric powers, are insanely broken. Well, that game went out of print for a very long time. And then they came out with a Twilight Imperium version of it, Rex, which I really wanted to play. I didn't get to play when I was visiting Nathan, but I still really, really want to play. And then Gale Force 9 came out with a updated version of it, and they removed a lot of those modules. They removed all of the modules except for one alternate rule at the end, which really streamlined it, because it was actually hard to play the original Doom with all the different modes that you could play it with. But that's the one he's talking about. That's the one Peter's talking about, is the reprint of it that streamlined the rules a bit. And then Gale Force 9 also came out with another Dune one, which is the same game, only 4 players, and they streamlined the rules even more to make it a quick play game. And then you have, since the Dune IP just opened the floodgates, you have every type of Dune on the face of the planet. But specifically, that is the one he's talking about on his list.
Yeah, and this is like one of the ones he does have a note on here for.
Okay.
Now, this game has moved up my list because a high play count is a must. It's hard to get 6 players.
Yes.
I think by up, I think he moved down, because I think it was number 4 last year.
Yeah, it was higher up on his list. And the shortfalls to that game, there's 2 big problems with that game. One is the length of time it can take to play. It can drag on for a very long time. And the second downfall of that game is that it does only play best with the super high player counts, and its best is 6 players, because all the super broken asymmetric factions function together and against each other properly in 6 players, and it breaks down as you whittle down your player count. So 6 players is the best player count for that game, I feel, which is a lot of people, and it can last 3 to 4 hours. So it's a long length of time too. And you could end the game in 4 rounds, which still took 3 to 4 hours. But yeah, it's a good pick. I like that game. It's not an every time game for me. I'm not a big Dune IP fan. I do enjoy a lot of the Dune games, but yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah,
The Dune IP...
did they actually get to finish that game that they did at the
No, they actually had to end it early. They had 3 more rounds they could potentially do. So they had to end it early, and they just
basically the 2 turns before we ended it, we reset so much of the board. There was so many people in the tanks. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And almost nobody had any spice left except for the Spacing Guild. They were very, very certain to win the game at that point. So it was not even though we didn't finish the game, it was a foregone conclusion, really.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a slow burn through all the game. And you do have to pay the Spacing Guild a lot of spice. So if you have like a stalemate game, it's either the Emperor or the Spacing Guild that it benefits from that. Bene Gesserit, if they play their cards right, it has to be by turn 4 or 5, right? For them.
We didn't even have them in the game.
They're just out. Yeah, you guys played a 4-player game or 5? 4-player, yeah.
It was 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is Evan's number 5?
So this is the only game that is on my list that I don't own a physical copy, but I did get a play in
Okay.
of it here, and we played it. All of us played the game, and after that game, Nathan was broken
Oh my gosh, I know.
to
what
a
game-
point
Dude,
of
he was so
he
broken
was
in it.
obsessed
Yeah.
over
Oh,
obsession.
we have to let Nathan. We have to let Nathan defend himself a little bit. But yeah.
But
Oh man. Oh
so
yeah.
this game is it's a card-based playing for people like you take an action based on a tile, which is also worker placement, and you use and fill guests based off your hand. So you have kind of multi-tiered exactly what you're doing. And overall, like it's not an overly complex game once you learn the core concepts of the game. But I think it was a very fresh theme for me compared to a lot of other games, and I think that's what I really liked with it because you get to be it's a family estate in Victorian England. Like there's no like beating of people. I mean, the worst is that I gossiped about Nathan and he lost reputation, which
That
crippled
can
him for 3
be
rounds.
very punishing. Here's the thing. Here's the other thing too. For that game, that was my 8th play of the game, to be fair. And the game always has debate, regardless of the family you pick. There are a certain set of things that you can always do. But the question is, do you know them? And if it's your first play of the game or even second in the play of the game, it's very difficult for these players to pick out what that is and what is actually important, because in the end the game is only slightly forgiving. It's actually not very forgiving if you make a lot of missteps at the beginning of the game. And there's a lot of things that seem important in the game that actually are not. So getting those high reputation tiles is not good in the game until later on. Your reputation doesn't need to go up really high. But if you get those tiles, because they cost money, you better be doing it because in the late game, you're going to be able to do it. Now, if you buy that tile early and you think, oh, wow, that's only 2 or 3 reputation, that's not necessarily an easy target at the beginning of the game, especially since you've lost your precious money to get that tile. That's very detrimental. And money is not the easiest to get at the beginning of the game. Towards the end, it seems like it's really easy, but that's because you're basing it on this sort of engine that you built to get this stuff. So,
Well, and that's the key part, I think, is everything is semi-easy to get, but at the detriment of the game only lasts 16 turns, and you only do one thing on that turn.
right.
So you're giving up, a portion of your game just to generate money or just to build reputation. So trying to find a way that you can do multiple things at the same time is hard. And I think that's where Nathan kind of ran into the wall, was he drew terribly. But
yeah, and not,
I'm gonna say, so just for the viewership, we played this game on a because whenever we record stuff, it's always Thursdays. So we recorded this on a Thursday. It was a Saturday around 9 to 10 o'clock. It went on and on and on in our Discord of Nathan just talking and talking about this and that and this. Like, we broke Nathan, and he was determined to figure out what went wrong with this game.
and it's
I thought it was actually 9 a.m. because on Sunday, because we were like, well, let's play it again. Let's go right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was Sunday
Yeah,
because
it
I
was.
had to drive to Butler to do something, and like in between stuff, I was like, Nathan, what are you doing? Are you literally?
Yeah.
You were obsessed with trying to figure out this game?
It's rare
Yeah.
too when you have a game that you think that much about after it, because I think the mechanics of the game, the theme of the game really gets you into it. And there's a lot of hidden traps in the game. And a lot of the
in this
hidden
game,
traps are not what you think they are, but they're there.
in this game, it definitely has that aha moment when you're playing it, where everything just kind of, I got it, and things now are a lot more smoother. And I think Nathan just ran into the wall of he drew terribly. His aha moment came a little bit too late, and he was just behind everybody by about 4 turns at that point. And then we gossiped about him, and he went even down further in reputation. It was just everything was just crippling.
The big thing and the problem is like the tile purchasing. You don't have a lot of money in the beginning of the game. There's no real way of generating a lot of money. If you make a bad tile purchase, oh my gosh, that really sets you back. Your tiles in the beginning of the game need to be either action tiles, or they need to be tiles that don't really require reputation for the most part. Unless you have a
thing is, I had perfect hand. Like I could get to like 3 reputation very easily. And thing is, though, Nathan bought the 3 reputation tile. So, and he couldn't even use it. And I was just like, I could have used it too.
Yeah, and that's a lot of time. The other thing too, to be fair too, is Nathan wasn't explained to very well of how the reputation worked. So you have to.
Who did the teach on that one?
No one really.
Yeah, there wasn't really.
We played on BGA, which runs the game for you. I did try to. We threw out some stuff on there, but we never did a full teach. And in retrospect, the only thing I really should have told anyone is how reputation works. That should have went over.
Well, Nathan, if you want to talk about your experience with this one.
Well, the big thing that Evan alluded to was mainly the luck. I had statistically impossibly bad luck. I essentially drew the same cards throughout the entire game, or almost identical cards. So I had no engine. I didn't even realize this was an engine building game until the second time I played the game, because there was nothing for me to work with.
So there's a couple things too. If you're planning on drawing cards, you are playing a luck game. If you look at my playthrough on there, I probably drew 4 cards the entire game. I went strictly on tiles. But I will say you can't do that for your first play, because you don't know what the tiles are. You don't know how they work, and you don't understand passing. Passing is the thing that seems obnoxiously bad in the game, when in reality it's actually not bad. It's
necessary.
It's not only necessary, it can be incredibly good.
One of mine, I could have passed and won one of those attraction, the love childs.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too. If you get those cards give you a huge bonus playing them on the round. Plus, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead and finish.
No, I mean it's just that they just give you a huge bonus. They're another thing that you didn't know to look out for. And you can win the game without ever attracting them ever at any point too. Those monument tiles are insane too.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, because of my huge luck, they weren't really accessible. But I would have to say, I played this game several times since, and I easily got double the points that I did in that game. And I did phenomenal well. I've yet to ever pass more than once, which is strange that I did so well without passing. But
I passed.
I really enjoyed it.
I think in that game playthrough, I passed 3 times of my 16 turns. But
I think I passed twice.
If you ever have to say, I need 200 lira, so I'm going to do this 200 lira ballroom, never do that. Always, 100% of the time, pass. You'll get your 200 money. You'll get all your servants back. You get all your cards back. If you ever do the $200 ballroom, or just like doing this to do 200 lira, it's, even if you can gain some reputation with the cards you're playing, not worth it.
Now, if you're just getting the 200 lira in addition to, like, I'm wanting to get the reputation and all the other things that are on my cards as part of my engine, that's not as bad.
It's not quite as bad, but the tiles, getting reputation tiles, are far more significant than bothering with the people. The you could pass and then get a reputation tile, and I can get 3 times more than you just got with that one tile.
But yes, this game broke Nathan. He was obsessed about Obsession for a while. Great sub story to this, but it is actually a very neat, great game. Very fresh, different theme. Really liked it a lot. Number 5, Obsession.
It's good.
Yeah,
Just one more thing to
that
add.
one we played
If-
this year, so it's not did not qualify for my list.
Oh.
One more thing to add. If this game wasn't so phenomenally well done mechanically, based on the playthrough I had for my first play, I probably would never played it again. But it's just that well done that I still enjoyed it. I saw what was happening. I saw the potential here.
Also, it was fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I got the
I'd
backstab
play
Nathan. It was great.
Yeah, that's true. That was so bad. He was so bad at that. He's like, I'm ready to go. I finally get out of this hole. And everyone's like, you're screwed. I hate
To be
that
fair, there,
card,
I looked
actually.
at the entire board, and losing 2 reputation to James and John wouldn't have done anything.
I would have
It
done
only affected
nothing,
Nathan, so-
nothing. to
Yeah,
it.
basically, I got to the point where I could do something other than one of the basic starting actions halfway, and it was almost halfway through the game, and then he hit me. So like, I really couldn't until like after
That
half
was
the way
so awesome.
through the game.
All right. So my number 5 has been on my list for a really long time. I believe it was higher up before. 90% positive it was higher up before. But have you ever want to punch Cthulhu in the face? Have you ever said, hey, you know what? I'm going to play a Lovecraft game and I am going to take out that Elder One, even though that's probably not going to happen. And that is Cthulhu Death May Die. You go in there and you're just going crazy. You're killing all the cultists. You're racing to get these goals. You're going against the Elder God. Sometimes you'll make it. Sometimes you won't. The whole point of the game is a dice chucking game where you're just going all in. And I think it's just as fun if I die to the Elder God as if I defeat it. In fact, sometimes it's more fun because I'm all into the game. I'm just going nuts. I'm just blowing things up. I'm just going crazy just to have at the last second the Elder God just come down and smack you down, or even right before. I really love Cthulhu Death May Die. I think the more and more I play it, the more and more I like it more. I don't know. There's not a lot of games in my collection where every time I play it, it gets better. I have a billion scenarios for it. I need to go through them and play enough to get those. But then, why not? I did the Kickstarter for the next one for season 3 and 4. So now I'm going to have all that too.
But you still don't have Baby Cthulhu.
No, I'm not paying for Baby Cthulhu.
Look, all I know is that one of the characters has their own theme song that I played every time I went and did something crazy.
Oh,
like,
you
rah
mean
rah Rasputin.
Russia's greatest love machine.
Yeah. I remember that.
You're not familiar with that song, Nathan?
He's like, please no.
Ah,
Please no. I do
Never
not
heard
want to be
of it.
familiar with this song. All right.
it's a great song. And everybody I played with when I played it, they hadn't heard it before. So I only saved it for special moments, like when I went into a room on fire with tons of cultists and I just started throwing haymakers and walked out with 1 health. And I was like, and then I played it because,
Yeah, it's just so much fun for those like stand-up moments. There's so many of them are like, I'm gonna die, we're just gonna do it. And you're like, okay, let's do it. There's not a lot of games where you're like, that is the best moment of the game where you're just like, you know what, who cares? I'm gonna go in and kill everything. And you may or may not do it. It's actually hilarious when it's just like, I go in, I died. But okay, so that was my number 5. Cthulhu Death May Die. How about you, John? What is your number 5?
all right. So my number 5 is a new game for me. And I think even kind of a new game. I have to remember. I can't remember when it came out, but I mean, it's relatively new. And I've played it a few times and then I went and bought it. So this is one of the 3 that I own that are on here because I own my own copy of King's Dilemma too. That I've only played like twice. And so my number 5 is The Witcher Old World.
Okay.
It is great thematic game. You can play as one of the, it has like so many different like modules that you can put into it. I highly recommend, especially if you're doing 4 players, to do witchers and sorcerers and have like 2 people be a witcher and 2 people being a sorcerer, because then you can play a bit more on as a sorcerer, like alternating like that, without having to worry about anything that you're doing affecting what the other person's doing during their buy phase kind of thing. So it can help speed up the game a little bit. But yeah, it's basically you're doing what a witcher does. You go around, hunt monsters. You're kind of going to different cities. You can fight each other. Basically, you're trying to get fame points, and it's a deck builder with a really interesting mechanic for purchasing, and that is you do not buy cards with any resource except for the cards themselves.
Okay.
And the cards themselves are your actions the next turn. So basically, you have your cards in your hand, you do your actions. They have, if you want to move to a new location, you play the card, and it has to match the symbol, for that location for that card to go there. You then do all the actions that you can do there, which vary from manipulating the market to playing dice for money with the locals, or even with other witchers. So you can basically bet money against each other. And if you do that, you can't fight because, there's no fighting, there's no sore losers, when it comes to poker dice. But yeah, and you have like different attributes that, you can raise up, and each player has a unique school that gives them unique abilities as well. And the sorcerers play completely different than the witchers, which kind of adds a whole lot more like replayability to the game for me. But yeah, as far as the market though, so yeah, like all the cards cost cards to buy from your hand. So you basically at the end of your turn, after you do all your actions, you draw, you get 3 cards in your hand, and then you can either buy a card for 0 cost, which basically you're getting a lesser, weaker card, but you're getting one that gives you an extra action next round. And I love that kind of like trade-off, because it's like, okay, I could spend 1 card, so I have the same amount of turns to get a better card. Or, sometimes you have to, depending upon where they are in the market, and the cards all cost 0 to 2, and they can also cost 1 more depending upon where they're at in the market. So, I mean, you can wind up ditching your whole hand and just having 1 action next turn, but you might have an incredible card that works, with your deck, because then you get to the combat, and the combat is really cool. Because basically you set up combos. So when you attack, and then you play 1 card, and it has off of it different colors that card can combo off of, and you can basically keep on playing in that chain until you can either you don't want to, or you can't play any more cards in that chain. And then there'll also be other things you can get, like potions that might give you other limitations, but like, hey, you can only play 1 extra card this turn, but you get this other ability, effect. Some of them let you just discard a card to do straight up damage to the enemy. And the other neat thing is the cards that you have are also your health in combat. So you may spend 4 cards in the combat in the combo, you're doing that much more damage, but you're also giving up 4 health to do that too. So that and as you like level up to get, because you're basically racing to level 4 of the fame track, you have to burn cards from your deck as you level up. So you have to burn 1 card, then you have to burn 2 cards out of your deck, then you have to burn 3 cards out of your deck before you then go and win the game. After that, like the 4th level. So it's you're basically just like, okay, which cards from my deck do I want to sacrifice?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like the type of game I would like.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm almost tempted to bring it, like run that at
because
CosCon.
You should.
Yeah, it's really good. I
would definitely play it.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I mean, that's why it's like it made number 5, from my list of the games I've played in the past year.
I really want to play this game. It really sounds interesting to me. But did I hear you right? Are you gaining building reputation in this game.
No, it's not reputation. It's like fame,
Okay.
or it could be infamy. I can't remember what it actually is, but yeah. And then you
just
can
there's a
also
little-
like there's different ways to get it. Like, you know, if you're like the top of your track for an attribute, so that's all the other ways. You don't have to fight things to get the reputation. You know, because you can have a good or bad reputation. It's just people know of you. You know, you know, you can be famous or infamous. You know.
Okay, that's good. Famous, fine. Reputation is a little bit of a trigger word for me now.
Oh.
Oh, now we got the obsession stuff. All right. So let's go. Let's go to Nathan's number 5.
My number 5 is the biggest and most expensive game I have in my collection, and I'm hoping it stays that way because I don't want to spend this much on any other game. Unfortunately, that means for a lot of people this might be a hard game to get, and that's Oathsworn.
Okay.
Oathsworn is really expensive, especially if you get the all-in like I did with all the miniatures. You get these miniature trees and houses and walls that you're going to be putting in. It's basically an entire village of little plastic miniatures. But it's a campaign game that is structured in 2 parts. The first part is basically an RPG. You're going through a story, making decisions, and what decisions you make and how well you do in that little RPG section determines in what status you're going to be going into the next section, which is the boss combat. And you know, the boss combat is really interesting. It's fun. You have a like card mechanic where once you play a card, it has a cooldown period, and you got to slide your cards down each round, or when you play a card, you can slide down other cards rather. But you really have to be paying attention to your card rotation, making sure you're managing that in a good way to make sure you always have good combat strength going throughout the battle. But what really makes this game is it avoids the pitfalls of a campaign. It's not uncommon for a campaign to have, okay, every missions you go in, just kill everything, or you have to get to point B to be able to finish the mission. This one starts out pretty straightforward, but throughout the campaign, they change things up. So each mission within the campaign feels fresh, especially once you get to the second half. They change up a lot, and it's fresh and interesting every single session of this game. And I love the way the game ends, which I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, that's one I need to play with you when we go up visit. That'd be fun. So what was Peter's number 5?
All right, so I feel like for this one, which his number 5 seems to have stayed the same from last year to this year.
Oh, okay.
But this one here requires like a specific voice here. So
I see. Oh,
or
all right.
Outer Rims it is.
All right, so we already talked about Outer Rim. Outer Rim's an amazing game. I know Peter loved the playthrough we had of that. It's a great game. Yeah, so I think we already talked about that one, so we can move on from that one. So we figure out what Evan's number 4 is.
So number 4 is another game that we played on the channel. This game was super hard to get for a long time, and people were still having problems getting it because for some odd reason they won't print enough copies of it.
Stratego?
No, Stratega's old people.
But this game,
there's never enough copies.
There's never enough copies. I'm sure there's a landfill that's just Stratego. But go ahead.
This game has push your luck in it. It has hand management, and it is probably the best racing game on the market. And that is Heat.
Okay.
Pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is. You're playing cards to go fast, but you have to watch what you're doing because it is hand management and deck management all in one, and you have to watch how you do in turns or you spin out. And spinning out is so detrimental, you will probably lose the race. And It has multiple boards in this game, and it has a championship system, and you can modify your cars per the race. And one of the things that I really like is there an expansion is coming out here. I think it'll be end of February is when it's coming out.
I think so. I saw that earlier. Yeah.
When you get a copy of Heat, you will look at it and you'll go, the insert for it has so much more room than what is actually in that. They built room for all of the expansions that they were planning to put into this base box, and that's fantastic. It's absolutely great. I really, really enjoyed the game. It is not hard to teach. It is so much fun. I really enjoyed it. I played a couple different racing games. They were okay. This one was probably the best one I've ever played, and I really, really enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
then it was nigh impossible forever to get a copy of it without paying double retail to scalpers out there. And every once in a while, you'll see a drop of like 100 at this retailer or that retailer, and people flocking to get a copy of it. And I managed to get a copy of it one time, and I was super, super excited that I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. I mirror everything you just said. I mean, it is probably the best racing game I've ever played. I really love especially when you got it, it's like, oh man, I got a handful of ones. Because I got this turn I'm coming in. I'm going to take this turn on fourth gear, baby. And you can, because, you got like, you kind of like, I was like sitting on two of them. You draw the third one. It's like, yes, let's go and drift this corner and just hit out of it going full speed. Everyone else is having to shift down to second gear.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting game. I need to play it again. Currently, I still rank Formula D higher for me. But I think with maybe a couple more plays of Heat, might change my mind.
I think so too.
There's a little nostalgia for Formula D for me too. It's a much older game. Also, I like rolling dice.
Formula D is
much
great.
like you.
Oh, me. All right, so my number 4. We'll just do it real quick because we've already talked about it. My number 4 is Last Light, designed by Roy Kennedy, and really great 4X game. We already talked about it. It's my number 4. Great game. All right, so what's John's number 4?
Well, mine's another one that I'm pretty certain is not on anyone's list. And that one's not a sarcastic statement on that one. That one's another legitimate one. And that is 11, Football Manager.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't
Yeah. I have a little, like, I don't know, like, dirty secret. I don't know, like, basically sim management games. I just love them for some reason. And I just love how all of it comes together. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm worried about, all right, getting advertisers. I need to worry about staff in my front office. And then you actually run the actual matches. Like, I've done a lot of sports, but soccer is not really one of them. But thing is, though, I had a lot of fun. Like, it's like, okay, I need to draft this player because I want to go, because I need to get another good front man on here. And then you have to kind of worry about where you're placing them. And like, I don't know, it just had like kind of like a little miniature, football match. And it was a lot of fun. I was quite surprised with how enamored I was with the game. And I played that at the beginning of the year. So, I mean, in order for it to still have my attention captured, and it's on the list of games that I really need to go out and buy.
So I pride myself by having reviewers with unique, super, unique opinions on games. So this is great that we have someone that likes this, let's say, genre of games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a simulate. It's great. I don't know. I don't know why it
Dave is like, oh, you're too mean.
I mean, I like playing, say like even like F1, like team management game, like PC. I love that too. I know. I can't explain it.
Let's play Excel the game.
I played Eve. That's Excel the
That's
game.
excelling. That is true. Oh, I will say I am still not willing to buy it in any way, but I want to play Blood Bowl. I really, really want to play Blood Bowl. I don't want to buy it. I don't want to paint the miniatures. I don't want to do any of that
it
stuff.
will suck you in, and you will be giving money to Games Workshop. Don't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, I need to find someone with a copy of it and then give them money.
We gave a copy away a while back.
I know that I was just that was hard for me. I was like, no, but okay, because it's going to cost more money because you can't just get that. You have to keep getting miniatures for your faction to build up your stats. So it's not like, you could have that base game and miniatures.
Yeah, I kept seeing this game at one of my local game stores, and I kept on wanting to buy it, but it is pretty expensive and not a game that I'm 100% sure I'll like. So it's like I want to try it, but I don't want to pay that much money for it.
If someone has it, I will 100% play it. But yeah,
I think there's a TTS module for it. So I mean, we could give it a try.
We could. Yeah, you know how good I am at
kinda get a feel
TTS,
for it.
so
Eh.
I would be willing to do it. So it's decided. Evan's going to teach the game.
Yeah, I'll definitely do it.
Oh, I guess John's
Evan?
going to teach the game. Pull Evan out of underneath that bus and just take over.
Yep, Evan, you can teach it.
Wait,
Okay.
he just put you back under the bus.
Well, wait till you see what's my number 3 game.
Oh, all right. So
all right.
Nathan's. I think. Wait, we're Nathan's number 4, right?
Yeah, we're in Nathan's number 4.
Nathan's number 4.
Yes. Okay, so sticking with the theme, this is another big epic story-based game. This is Sleeping Gods by Ryan Lockett, Red Raven Games. I wasn't really thrilled by how they teach you the rules in the introduction section of it, but the actual story shouldn't work as well as it does. They do such a phenomenal job of you can go anywhere and look into any part of the story, and somehow they still seem to have some sort of coherence to it, and you have your own unique story that you're never going to be able to replicate. It's like just managing to be able to get the exact same answers, unless you're actually trying to specifically do exactly the same and recording it so you remember next time. There's no way you're going to get the same story. There is so much to do. It's breathtaking how much there is in this game. I don't know if I doubt I'll ever be able to get through every element of this game.
Sounds about right. I just got a copy of it. It's sitting over there, and I definitely want to get it to the table. What's that?
Didn't you? Oh no, you got the original Sleeping Gods.
I got the original Sleeping Gods over there. Is it? I thought the sequel was a standalone.
The Distant Skies, yes.
Yeah, it's not. So yeah,
I need to get that to the table, and I got the Carol, the little standalone mini expansion.
Okay. Yeah, have to let us know how you feel about either of those two once you get them to the table. If they are better or worse than what you experienced with Sleeping Gods.
I'm very excited. They seem like they've made some pretty nice changes to, but keeping what made the Sleeping Gods good.
All right, John. What is Peter's number 4?
Oh, mama. There's number 4. There's a one that's already been on the list. I believe it was yours. That was The Last Kingdom, brother.
That's true, yes. Last Kingdom's an amazing game. It's one of those games I just want to keep playing it over and over again. If everyone ever wants to play The Last Kingdom, I will do it. I may not win, but I will enjoy it. And there's so much replayability to that game. It's just super insane. It looked like we were going to say something, and I was like, okay, I'm going to give you a second jump, and then nothing came out. All right.
I haven't played it yet. I wanted to play it.
Well, we'll play
But,
where I'm running it at the convention, so we could definitely play it there.
so yeah, I'll have to go and sign up for that then.
Yeah.
Which
did I put
which
it up
reminds
yet?
me, we got to talk about that later because I got to figure out what I'm running there.
Yeah, I haven't put it up yet, but I'm definitely going to. I was trying to see when you guys are running stuff so I could play some of your games. All right. So now we're down to number 3. So this is our top 3. So John, Evan, what's your top 3? Okay, Evan, that was great. No, I'm kidding.
So number 3 for me is, and John thought he was the only person put it 11 football. No, it's
that's
soccer.
Horrible.
No,
that's just
no.
no one likes that or Stratego.
Number 3 for me is actually a game that we mentioned earlier, and that is Earth.
Okay.
Earth
Okay. Yeah.
is
I respect
really,
that.
really highly thought of game. I really enjoy it. We talked about it already a lot. Beautiful game. I love the engine building. Everything about it is just really cool. The component quality is fantastic. The only thing I wish that they did was they put some kind of mat or board or something for you to help organize your island, but it's a extra to do. Plus, there's a lot of other people out there that can make those, and you can find them secondary markets and stuff like that. I wish there was something like that in the game, but I mean that's just like a minor thing with that. But I really do enjoy the game. I was so excited to get a copy of it, and I will play that game anytime anybody wants to play it.
Yep, it's a good game. I agree. And since Peter apparently has the same tastes as me, my number 3 is going to be Innis. I already talked about Innis. Innis is an amazing, amazing game. I will play Innis anytime, anywhere. Really great game. I just can't. I can't wait. I can't believe I waited so long to play the game. It's been 2 years ago since I played the game, and it's just one of my prize collection games. And that's my number 3, Innis. So it's John's number 3.
My number 3 game is Evacuation.
That sounds like something that happens when you're getting ready for a colonoscopy.
Or, or when you're...
No.
No?
No.
All right, but yeah, Evacuation. It is a up to 4-player game. Basically, it is a dual economy game.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with the theme at all, but basically, Earth, basically the sun is getting way too bright and way too hot, and it's melting the planet, and everybody needs to get out, and you have 4 rounds to do it.
Okay.
And so basically, you start with a fully formed economy on the old world, and you need to move things to the new world.
This one, yeah.
And basically, you also have satellites that you also need to shift over, and that kind of affects what you can do in the new planet, what you can do in the old one, plus also other different special resources that you get as well, and or special other bonuses you can get. And so you have to kind of balance moving things over, building up the new engine, and what parts of your old one you're going to tear out to do that. Because you also need to buy ships often at the old world to ship things over to the new one. And then you got to send those ships back, and you can then buy more ships, and you can send 2 more back or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of a juggling act. And of course, if you leave anything behind, that's a lot of negative points that you're getting. So you need to get everything out of there. Because yeah, everything's getting burned. And and the action system is really neat because it's kind of you could, there's card actions plus also the built-in actions that you're taking as well throughout the turn. So it's kind of, I really like the action economy on it, and because also there's like other resources that you can get because you need to spend energy the more actions you take on those 4 turns. So if you can get the resources, it gets really expensive, but you can do it.
Yeah. That sounds like a really cool, interesting game. and I've wanted to play that one for a while, so that might be another one we try to get in at some point here.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind doing the teach on that one either. That one's all. That's another one on my. I really want to get this game in my collection.
Oh, okay, so you don't have the game technically right now.
No, I don't have it yet. No, I played somebody else's, and yeah, so that's this is one I need to get.
All right, so what's Nathan's number 3?
So my next game is a game that I think I can say without hyperbole that it's possible I'm the only one in the world that has this on their list. Because it's very hard to find. It's a phenomenal game. It barely exists. You really can't get a copy of it. I know everybody on the channel loves it, but because it's so hard to get.
Oh, okay.
But most people dropped it off the list because it's so hard to get, and it's not really fair to the audience to kind of keep talking about this game that they can't get. But I don't care. I don't care about the audience.
Oh my gosh.
No, I do.
All right. I think chat's going to say something about that.
I think so. Let's see.
So this game is Shiver Me Timbers.
Yeah.
Which is a phenomenal pirate game that I wish more people would have gotten their hands on. I wish the designer had continued to publish and had made expansions for this. It doesn't even need the expansion, but it would be so cool to have. But this is a sandbox pirate game where it's so well balanced, you can do just about anything and still get tons of points, still be in contention of winning no matter what strategy you take. You could go off and do missions. You can try to court someone and get married. You can, fight krakens. You can just raid other people's ships and do anything you want and just have fun and enjoy your game.
Yes, I agree. It's a very good game. I really wish it would have went somewhere. I think that it's one of those Kickstarter games sort of didn't really do as well as the designer hoped. Didn't get the traction it should have got. But it was a very amazing game. And I really wish it would be reprinted at some point because I think it was really good, well designed.
And our channel now has 3 copies of it.
Nah, never played it.
We will slowly corner the market on all the copies.
Yeah, I would say we'll probably have half of them, right?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But yeah, Shiver Me Timbers, great game. What is Peter's number 3?
Peter's number 3 game. Out in the Blood Rage.
All right.
Are you raging blood?
Yeah, so that's another Eric M. Lang game on our
I think I see it. Wait, I think no. Right, which way? Here?
Oh yeah, Nathan has the Blood Rage right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's to the right. He's right here. Yeah.
Yeah. Blood Rage is a really fun Viking-themed game where you're going to be playing over 3 different eras, trying to collect points and maximize your resources known as Rage, to pillage, to place new units out, to get clan upgrades, to gain monsters. Really amazing game. Plays very quickly. Really cool drafting element to the game. Just phenomenal game. It's all action all the time in that game. Really love Blood Rage. Really good pick, Peter.
Yeah. I don't think I've played Blood Rage.
You're dead.
I think that's.
Yeah, I got.
I've been dead the whole time.
Oh, you need to play. You need. I'm dead inside already. No.
How do you kill that which has no life?
You definitely need to check out Blood Rage. We'll definitely get to the table. It doesn't take that long to play, and it's very easy to teach. Takes about an hour and a half to play. So yeah, Blood Rage, good pick. Good.
So side note of things, I just did some super basic math, and my estimates for Shiver Me Timbers is there's about 1,500 copies floating out around there. So we own 0.2% of all the copies. So we are slowly cornering the market on Shiver Me Timbers.
Eventually, we'll own 100% of all of them. But no, yeah. All right. So now we're down to our number 2. What is Evan's number 2 game of all time? It's a
Number 2, with much fanfare, it has been mentioned not once, but twice so far, and now it shall be mentioned thrice. King's Dilemma.
all right. King's Dilemma. Yep. Game I haven't played. Really great.
Well,
Yep.
we can't account for your poor taste, James. So
That is true. You cannot.
Or poor management skills, because I mean that's obviously why you can't, be a part of the leadership for the kingdom.
Or play the game apparently because I can't do time management.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a thing. All right, so we've already talked about that one. We actually have already talked about my number 2, so I'm just gonna say it and then we're gonna go from that. My number 2 is gonna be Dune Imperium. No, we didn't talk about Dune Imperium.
no, we did not.
No, we haven't talked about Dune Imperium.
I'm pretty
We
sure
talked
it's
about
on
Dune.
We
Peter's
talked about
list.
Dune.
I'm pretty sure it's on Peter's list, but Dune Imperium, it's like
It might
Lost
be
Ruins.
coming up.
Yeah, it's like Lost Ruins of Orinoch. Is basically going to be a game where you're going to have a deck builder. You're going to use these cards to move in different places of the board. You're going to be trying to gain points, which a single point is a really big thing in this game. And you are going to either try to get those through the battles, pulling yourself up in different factions. Really great Dune themed game. And I'm not really into Dune. It's just a really great mechanically solid game. So I really love Dune Imperium. I will play it every time, all the time. That's my number 2, Dune Imperium.
Yep, it's pretty good. Don't really have too much to add to it. I mean, I really enjoyed the deck building and everything, all the kind of mechanics with it. So it's got a lot of the pieces I like.
Yeah, it's like basically Lords of Waterdeep and Clank had a baby, and it was amazing. And that was Dune Imperium.
Yeah, I sold my copy.
Yeah, you're.
Yeah, to me.
Something wrong. Something wrong with you, Evan. Something wrong with you,
Well,
Evan.
the two subsects of people that I play board games with, there's multiple copies of it in those groups, so there was no point in me having it. Because if I want to play a copy of it, I'd be like, James, you want to play Dune Imperium? And you'd be like, yep, and we play.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's definitely what happened. All right. So, what is Evan's number 2?
Evan, he already went.
What?
Evan already went.
I am losing.
Yeah.
It. It's John's number 2.
Which mine's already been covered, and that is my current number 1 racing game, Heat Pedal to the Metal.
Yep, that's good.
So,
I'm
not
also going to
much more
kill
to add.
my cat, by the way. That's what's distracting me. My cat is going on to one side of my door, meowing. I let it through. It goes to the other side of the door, meows. I let it through. It's driving me nuts. Just saying. All right. So, Nathan.
Our Shiver Me Timbers is driving me nuts.
That's true. That's true. Nathan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 has also been talked about twice already, and that's Star Wars Outer Rim. Phenomenal game. So this is the 3rd time, so I don't need to say much more. I just want to add that I really love the expansion for this Unfinished Business. There were some very, very minor things that I listed off 3 minor things that I thought could have been approved from the base game, and the expansion did all of them like they'd been listening to me specifically. But yeah, that's my number 2.
I think, James, you're muted.
So that's good. I have taken care of the cat. I did not hurt it. But hopefully now I won't have to keep opening that door.
So now we're going to talk about Peter's
Oh, that's right. Peter's number 2.
That's right. Peter has a number 2 game. And it's also one that we might have just talking about. Dune Imperium. So I don't have really too much more to add. Oh, you're muted again there, sir.
Fail. Failing tonight. Oh yeah. So Dune Imperium's an amazing game. I really love it. No, I knew it would be really high up on Peter's list. So yeah, we're on the same
It was
level
also
for
the
it.
same place last year.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much his top 3 are the same.
All right. All right. So now we're down to our number one game of all time. We're going to go ahead and start off with Evan. What is your number one game of all time?
Or of games I have played this last year.
Yes.
So, of the games that I have played this last year, this is the game that I have played the most of. This is the game that I plan to play a lot more of. I will play this game at any point, at any time. If people were like, we want to play this, I will gladly pull it out. I will play it. It'll be a fantastic game. It'll be a lot of fun. I love, love, love this game. And that is Blood on the Clock Tower.
Yes, you do love
I
that game.
absolutely love this game. I've always had an affinity for social deduction games. I always found them enjoyable, but not to the point of these are my favorite games. I always have fun playing them. This moves the social deduction game to a next level where we will put a puzzle around the social deduction. So it's not just your ability to read people, but also your ability to work backwards to solve the puzzle.
Yeah.
And then once we add unique player powers to everybody, and the ability that if you are out, if you're dead, you are not out of the game, and inclusive for everybody to still be a part of the game. The game, it's fantastically fun. It is great. I absolutely love it. I have run 10 plus sessions at least of that. I plan to run so much more of it. If we get enough interest in our Discord and whatnot, I will run online games of it. I'm going to be running it at CosCon, probably SibCon also. The biggest detriment to the game is it requires at least 5 people to play. But if you can get at least 5, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. We ran it at Library Game Day, not this last one, the one before, and I ran 2 sessions of it. And I think people that played it are not social deduction people that played it, and I think they really, really did enjoy it. My wife recently had her birthday, and she invited a bunch of non-board game people to play, and they were involved. They were doing the things, they were asking the questions, and they were working through it. And it was just great to see people that don't play games at all, like taking and working through this and being involved with the game, and it was great. I've gotten to the point that a friend of ours has a warehouse, and we have like props and stuff set up for it, so it even takes it to a higher level, which is fantastic. I really enjoy this game. I will play this anytime anybody asks. I will run it. I've only actually got to play in one session, but I actually really enjoy running the game so much more, just because I get to watch everything kind of come together.
Yeah, it also can play up to a huge player count too, which is really cool.
15 smoothly, 20 kind of clunky, but can be done. But yeah, I mean, the sweet spot is really about 8 to 12.
Okay.
But it's fantastic. It is expensive. It really is expensive, but you get so much content out of that. You get 3 scripts plus the scripting tools available online, so you can create so much more. And for a while there, every other week, I think it was, they were releasing new like characters and stuff like that, so you can create anything out there.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't like social deduction games, but I did really enjoy my plays of Blood on the Clock Tower. I thought they were really phenomenal. I think Nathan might like it, even though he doesn't like social deduction games either.
Well, putting the puzzle around it, I think that's where I think Nathan would latch onto that, because now you don't have to rely, like I said, just on talking to the other people to see if they're lying to you. But I can now figure out you're lying to me based off of these 3 pieces of information. So, gotcha.
Yeah, you could
or
tell,
unless you're playing with Jose, then you just
Yeah,
like,
then you don't know
he's-
yet. Yeah.
you could tell by our playthrough of Skull how bad I am at reading people.
Oh yeah, you're awful at Skull. Yeah. Oh man, that playthrough was amazing. I like that. All right, so my number 1 is already a number on someone else's list, so I'll just briefly go over it. But it's Blood Rage. I just love Blood Rage. It keeps
Not a bad game.
moving around on my
I've never played.
list. What's that? You haven't
But
played it.
so it's not a bad game that I've never played.
Yeah.
You know,
So
we need to fix that.
it's just a game that it's amazing when you can have a game where you're just like, yes, I want to play that anytime. And there's a lot of games out there like, you know what? I don't know if I really want to play this because it's like a lot to set up or whatnot or what. But Blood Rage is not that way. It's really easy to set up, but it's a really meaty game too. So it's really fun and it's really satisfying when you get those strategies that fire off. Or you have a game where everyone's blocking each other and Nathan has this ridiculous strategy that never works. Only works because everyone blocked it off, everyone else off, and you're just like, Nathan, I hate you. Basically, how that game worked. Yeah, that was so bad. You never win with that strategy, ever. And you're just like, you know what? You guys are fighting over the Loki stuff and the other strategies too much. I'm just going to do this one. And it's like, how did you win? How did you
all about
crutch
watching
us?
what other people are doing and
Yeah,
doing something
it's
different.
true. That's what
But-
makes the game great. So,
But John, don't worry. James will play this game with you about the same time he plays Manchester Madness with Evan.
that's probably not
How-
true because I will play. I'll bring Blood Rage to the con and we can knock that one out. Manchester Madness is a little harder because I have to have the app set up. You have to be able to hear it. It has to be probably at my house.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So, John, what's your number 1 game of all time? It is the best game ever, and that people could put in the comments down below if they disagree.
Stratego.
Stratego.
So yeah, because this is the number 1 game I played this year. You know what? I had a hard time in making my list. So I have some honorable mentions that I just have to mention because I debated on putting these in here. So On Mars, Decorum,
Oh my god.
Flotilla, Bear Raid, Unconscious Mind. Really,
I haven't played that one yet.
Between it and Earth, Great Western Trail. Those were like the ones that were on my honorable mentions.
Wait, Great Western Trail isn't even in your top
It's on
10.
my honorable mentions.
Not your top 10.
Nope.
So it's a horrible game, and you hate
Yep.
it. And everyone.
So
needs
number
to...
1, Great Western Trail, New Zealand.
Oh, that's cheating. 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 They like set me up for that too. Oh,
Yep.
so bad. So bad. I'm like, I don't even know why this isn't on your top 10. This is so dumb.
Just because Great Western Trail, New Zealand is there. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to have Great Western Trail as number 2 and then Great Western Trail, New Zealand as number 1. That wouldn't work.
That would be
That-
hilarious. I would mock
Yeah,
you.
that's why I got shifted to honorable mentions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I got into that trap.
Yep.
Yeah. So Great Western Trail, you're going to be running through, trying to run your cattle up and sell them in market and whatnot. What is the big differences for people for Great Western Trail and Great Western Trail New Zealand?
Well, one,
Why is it better?
it's sheep. And so it's sheep. And also, like, what's tied into it is the employment market also is no longer where the turn tracking is done too.
Okay.
So they kind of separated that from that, which makes it so when you go and finally get to your destination, do the sale, like because there was kind of always that, the third section was like, if I go and get a person and add it to the market, I'm going to rush the game, which is going to hurt me. And so that part of it now gets removed, and it has its own market. Plus, there's also another track that you can integrate with, and a few of the other big improvements that I really like that they bring to New Zealand is, one, because they're sheep, there's 2 different values on each sheet. There's the value that you get for selling it at the end, plus each one of them has a shearing value. So you, if you want to, halfway to getting to the destination, you can turn in a set for their shearing value instead and get money, like get a huge amount of money halfway through the board that you wouldn't have gotten before. So that makes it so like you don't have a lot of the issues that you had, especially with how the board is laid out and the buildings that you have now. There isn't the whole, hey, you got to go like from the beginning of the board. As soon as you get money, you got to run through this gauntlet that ever like 6 people have put, steal your money cards in the way.
Yeah.
There's more paths. That doesn't happen in it. And also like kind of once you get to like late game, some of the default actions in Great Western Trail are not that great to take. You don't want to bother doing them. So they resolve that by having it halfway through the game, the actions flip and become something else.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So like I said, it feels like they took a lot of like the shortcomings that that I had with Great Western Trail and kind of expand on it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it is definitely the superior version of the game. Plus also it has the top part because it's not rails, but instead you have so you actually have like the different areas that you can unlock by moving your ship. So instead of so it has like other interactions, and I feel like the extra things that they added do add up a lot more to the game.
Yeah. Now I will say I have a copy of Great Western Trail from Plan B Games, I believe it is, right? I think that's the one they're making it right now.
Looks like I'm losing my internet.
I'll wait till you come back. Yeah, so anyway, I have a copy of Great Western Trail, and I can't play it because the manual has an English cover to it, and the inside of the manual is French. So I
Parlez-vous français?
Yeah, so I have emailed them for the replacement, and they're going to send it apparently on the back of a cattle because it's been 3 weeks of shipping for an instruction manual. So yeah, and I will say also this is the first game I've had in like
is it the second printing
6 years? Yeah, it's 6 years that actually I've had to contact the manufacturer on anything. Like I've never really had a missing part game in that long.
Why don't you just print a copy of the rules off of BGG?
I don't know. I didn't look. I don't know if they're actually available there as PDF. They probably are. I also figured I should have a rules manual for the game. Too.
Oh, my internet's going out again.
It's okay. All right.
I'm realizing I actually know somebody in New Zealand that raises sheep. So if James could buy us a ticket to New Zealand, we could do this in real life.
No, we got to be like extreme gaming. We have to do that in the middle of a volcano with the sheep. That's how it has to be.
All right. The rules are available on BGG.
Taking my thunder away.
I don't think my friend would want their sheep anywhere near a volcano.
You never know. Like mutton could be delicious. All right, so Nathan, what is your number one game of all time?
My number one game shares an acronym with Evan. MOM, or Mansions of Madness.
Oh.
Which we've already talked about. It's a phenomenal game. And, I recently played this with people that said they would never play it because they had no interest in the theme, had wanted nothing to do with it. I convinced them to play it, try it, and they loved it. And it was really nice. We played it. We actually had a big screen TV that was like 16-inch TV, I think. And I was, sent the signal from my phone to that TV, and it's like play on. Really, it was really nice. A lot of fun. And, we played every scenario in the base game and several expansions, like back to back. We just went right through them really quickly. But that said, I mean, there's not a huge number of scenarios, but they really are really replayable because the app does change things up each time you play.
Yeah, I completely agree for that. I think that's 100% true. All right, so what is Peter's number one game of all time? Hopefully John's back here.
I am back. And let me just get back to this. Because my internet's been real bad here. It's been flaky for the past like couple days. All right, so remember, I'm Peter here.
Okay.
My favorite game is a Dungeons and Dragons.
So now you're Mario, apparently.
Yep,
Woohoo! All right, so yeah, D&D.
it's a me.
Yeah, RPG games, very, very popular. We have
Yeah.
them on all of our conventions here that we go to. There's still a big crowd and following for that game. And I know Peter's had endless hours of enjoyment for it. So, yeah, I think that was his number
You
one
should
from
play a
last
good
year
system.
too. Yeah.
Like Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Well, Peter's not here to defend himself, so yeah. All right. So that was our top 10 list. I hope you guys all enjoyed that. In a future episode here, we're going to defend our top 10 episode or our top 10 lists. We'll mercilessly pick on each other at that, so it'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, so I hope you guys all enjoyed and you all have a good night.